Welcome to the Belly Up Big Game Bonanza. A finale is defined as the last part of a performance, especially when particularly dramatic or exciting. The biggest season ever and its extended playoffs were certainly that.
52-yarder, sweeps the leg, McPherson. He's got it. Cincinnati wins.
Kick was down the middle and good. 49ers win it.
30 yards to win the game. Matt Gates boots it through. And the Rams, by the hair of their skinny teeth team.
Allen fires it. It's a wide open. Remarkable. Touchdown. Down the middle. It's Hill in the open. Cuts it upfield. He might be gone. He is. Looking to the end zone for the win. He caught it. Ball game. Play Montana beat him with a touchdown pass to Taylor. And now they go deep down the field. And it is intercepted on the rebound by Bell. On Bell. McPherson. And Cincinnati is heading to the Super Bowl. Garoppolo under pressure. Donald got there in the air. Intercepted by the Rams. And they may ride to the Super Bowl on that.
There can be no doubt today is a special day, and we appreciate you starting it with us. The Belly Up Big Game Bonanza starts now.
And welcome in. It's the moment you have all been waiting for. The Belly Up Sports' Big Game Bonanza live on Belly Up TV at bellyup.tv, powered by Tiki Live. We're also available to you on our Roku channel. Download the Belly Up Sports channel. And if you want to comment in along with the show, check us out on YouTube. We'll be streaming simultaneously on there all afternoon. And when I say all afternoon, I mean all afternoon. We're here from 12 to 3:30 with everything you possibly need to get ready for your Super Bowl Sunday. I'm going to be one of your main hosts for the afternoon. My name is Dan Mader, host of the MD's Fantasy Football Show, part of the Belly Up Sports Network. Joining me today, my partners in crime, Mr. Kelcey, Mr. Jason, Kelcey of High Low Sports, and Jason of TSS Fantasy. Kelcey, how are you doing today?
Man, doing great. It is Super Bowl Sunday, man. Like, is there a better day in the year? This is like holiday in February. Give me Christmas in February. This is fantastic. I'm so excited. I'm ready to get this going.
It is a national holiday, no matter what anybody tries to tell you. Right, Jason?
Indeed it is. And listen, not only is this a great day to spend with your friends and family, but listen, I hope this is a new tradition for us, getting to spend it with you guys and the great personalities at Belly Up. And the best part, spending it with our extended family, our viewers. Thank you so much for starting your Super Bowl Sunday with us.
I want to give you guys a quick tidbits on where you can find the Belly Up Sports TV network, because we're up to 25 shows and we're streaming 24/7 content, and we're going to have live sports content on the way, like live game action. That is months away from happening, maybe even less than that. We're going to have all kinds of content coming out for you guys that you're not going to want to miss, and it's all going to be for free. Again, any device. All you got to do is go to www.bellyup.tv. You can download Tiki Live on your Apple or Roku, or download the Belly Up Sports channel on Roku. Again, we cannot stress this enough. This has been a new thing we just launched within the last month. It's already taking off like wildfire. People are enjoying the fact that we're bringing something new to the table. It's fresh take. It's unfiltered. It's raw. It's everything you want it to be. So that's why you want to make sure we want to do this show, not just talk about the Super Bowl, but to make sure you guys all know what you're missing out on if you haven't tuned in to Belly Up TV just yet. But let's get back to what we're talking about today. It's the Cincinnati Bengals. It's the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams going to be the second team in history, back-to-back years, that's going to be a home team in the Super Bowl. It's incredible. Fellas, let's touch on that real quick, because there was some controversy around this. Should the Super Bowl, and I disagree with this for the record, by the way, but should the Super Bowl have a secondary location because it's quote unquote unfair for these teams to have a home advantage in the Super Bowl? Go ahead, Kelcey.
Man, get out of here with that. Look, if a team works so hard, bust their butt every single day, every single game, every single practice, they earn that opportunity. Look, it's known 3 to 4 years in advance where they're going to have a Super Bowl. Let them have it. Like, give it to them. You bust your butt for all that time to get there. Absolutely, you deserve every advantage you can get, because the Super Bowl, there's not very many advantages to be given there.
The Super Bowl's like the Olympics. There's a reason why these things are planned out years in advance. It's the logistics of everything, right, Jason?
Yeah, listen, I mean, as a kid, I always dreamt, because back in the day, Miami used to always get Super Bowls, and I thought America's team, the Miami Dolphins, would win one, finally be that first one to do it. Unfortunately, never happened. So this is really cool that this has happened. Not only happened last year, but back to back. And listen, participation trophies. It's not fair that the Super Bowl. I mean, are we joking right now? Come on, man.
I figured we want to address that real quick, because that was a story leading up into this. Now it's happened 2 years in a row, even though it had never happened in history before last year. But today is all about the Rams and the Bengals. Like I said, it's all about Joe Cool, Joe Broadway, Joe whoever, Joe Tiger King, whatever you want to call him, versus Matthew Stafford, who had to go through hell his entire first half of his career, more than first half of his career, finally gets in with a team that actually has talent, that has a good head coach, and he finds his way into the Super Bowl in the first year with Sean McVay. What story do we like more, Kelcey?
Man, what story do I like more? You're telling me to choose my first love between my new love at this point in time. I love me some Matt Stafford. I love the story. Look, you got to root for the guy. He has a career losing record, and we've all thought he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks to ever play the game. We all said, get him out of Detroit and look what will happen. And we get that exact example. Joe Burrow is the next coming. I'm sorry. If you don't like what Joe Burrow is doing right now, you don't like sports. You don't like football. You don't like entertainment. He's doing this in Cincinnati. I don't know if you guys have been to Cincinnati, but outside of Skyline Chili, there's not a whole lot, and Skyline Chili isn't a whole lot to write home about. So, look, give me Matt Stafford in the storyline. I think I love the most, and this one I'm going to give the edge to what he went through in the offseason with him and his wife 2 seasons ago, with the brain surgery, with everything that happened there, and to see where they're at now. I mean, you're talking about, I don't know if you guys saw the story that she came out with on a podcast. She released her story about her, Matt Stafford, their love life. She actually hooked up with a backup quarterback at Georgia to get Matt Stafford to fall in love with her. So, like, this goes back, and this is this is a whole story that it is fantastic to hear about, just back and forth. And Joe Burrow, we have a lot of time to love on Joe Burrow. There's a matter of time before he is everybody's who's who, if you will, the new Tom Brady.
I like it. How about you, Jason? Which one are you looking for more?
All right, first, I just want to caution Kelcey on, remembering quarterbacks going to the Super Bowl and not coming back. Trust me, I know. So sometimes, listen, sometimes it just happens and you just don't get back, sadly. But let me go on to say, I love the Matt Stafford story, of course. I'd be stupid not to say, hey, this is a great story. You got to love Matt Stafford. Like you said, he hit the nail on the head. We all kept saying it. Get him off the Lions. Matt Stafford's going to do well. You hit that on the head. So I'm going to go with another story, like you just mentioned. The only thing out of Cincinnati that I'm aware of is WKRP. That's about it. Venus flytrap, all that kind of good stuff. That's the only thing I remember. So for the city of Cincinnati, to me, that's the great story here. Hasn't happened yet. Love to see it. Love to see the whole city erupt and get one. So that's the story for me today.
Awesome. We got some great action for you guys for the rest of the afternoon. We're going to be going over the AFC, NFC breakdown in the next segment. We got bets, we got DFS, we got fantasy feud, we got player storylines, we got Super Bowl foods, we got Super Bowl breakdowns, we got predictions, and so much more coming for you guys. So everybody stay tuned. We're taking a quick break. Come back on the other side. We're going to welcome in DJ and Zach, and we're going to get AFC, NFC breakdowns kicked off right after this. So stay tuned to the Belly Ups Sports' Big Game Bonanza on Belly Up TV. Exciting news just came across from our friends at Manscaped. They just launched their 4th generation performance package. This ultimate package includes the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Manscaped, the leaders in male grooming, have done it again to make your grooming game next level. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with the new Performance Package 4.0 by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY. The Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped has arrived, and oh man, it was worth the wait. Inside this package, you'll find our Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. Get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY at manscaped.com. Your balls have been through enough this past year, so treat them with the best tools for the job from Manscaped. And we are back, baby. It's the Belly Up Sports' Big Game Bonanza. We're back. We're on Belly Up TV, powered by Tiki Live. We're on Roku on the Belly Up Sports channel. Tune in. We are on YouTube. Come and interact with us all throughout the afternoon up until 3:30. But now, myself, Dan, Kelcey, and Jason, we welcome in DJ and Zach. We're going to get into our segment about the AFC, NFC breakdown. But first, Zach, we'll start with you. How are you doing today, man?
Would it be out of line to say ballin' after that little lead-in that we just had right there? I think that's a good way to roll into. But I'm doing great. The biggest game of the year. Can't wait. Kelcey, you guys broke down the stories coming into this one. Some of the great things to look forward to. I can't wait. It should be fun on the X's and O's chalkboard as well as just from a far entertainment standpoint.
Zach, hold on, Zach, because I want to introduce you properly. Zach has been doing all the great work that you've been seeing on Burns Radio, because along with the television set, the Belly Up TV, we have our radio station, which is also 24/7 content at tikilive.com/channel/Burns. Burns Radio, baby. Love to be a part of it, and Zach's the one leading the way on that. So thank you, Zach. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for the intro. And it's Super Bowl Sunday, the unofficial national holiday across the U.S. and even across the world anymore. I mean, how can you not have a great day? You know, no matter what, it's a celebration of the greatest sport in the world.
Absolutely. All right. So which one of you two gentlemen wants to go first? DJ's going to be doing AFC. Zach's going to be doing NFC. Raise your hand. Let me see the visual.
You know what? The favorite should go first. So Zach, lead the way, guy.
All right. Well, here's the deal. I'm going to give you, of course, my breakdown here in just a second, but the theme of this whole season, as well as this video you'll be getting, is all in. That's all I can tell you. Let's see if we can get that to go here. I think I got that going.
Maybe we could start with DJ.
That might be for the best then. I appear to be having an issue with that.
Hey, it's not going to be a Belly Up Bonanza unless there's a little bit of a technical issue going through this whole thing. It's not a big deal. DJ, you got it queued up for us, bud.
Not a problem as well, too. I'll go ahead and lead into this one as well, too. For this part of it, we're going to talk about the Bengals, what they can do in this game, breaking down what they have as well, too. When you look at it, I think they were the underdog in every single playoff game, if I'm not mistaken, as well, too. It feels like you guys are the betting experts. You can let me know on this one. Maybe the Raiders ones, they are the favorites. So coming to this game, looking at it, I don't think they're too worried about that situation. Joe Burrow's been in big games since basically the last 3 years, and he's been undefeated in every big game he's had whenever it counts. Jamar Chase has been absolutely spectacular as well. And looking at it, Joe Mixon's had a little bit of resurgence as well, too. So it's been a long journey for them to get here as well, too. And I went ahead and took a look back to see how we got here as well, too. I believe we have that video ready to go as well, too. We can go ahead and get that one. The Bengals have had one of the greatest single-season turnarounds in NFL history, going from towards the bottom of the NFL to the Super Bowl. But this wasn't just a one-season turnaround for the Bengals. It all got started in 2020 when they drafted a young quarterback out of LSU by the name of Joe Burrow. He had just finished off one of the greatest singles college seasons in the history of the game as well, too. More than 60 touchdowns, less than 7 interceptions. He had won the Heisman Trophy, won the national championship, beat multiple top 10 ranked teams. He was the consensus number 1 overall pick for most, and the Bengals knew right there that he was going to be their guy. And as his rookie season got underway, there weren't a lot of wins. There was a lot of struggles as a team, but Joe Burrow had definitely showed up and showed out, well on pace to break multiple quarterback records as well, before suffering a devastating knee injury in Week 11 against the Washington now Commanders on FedEx Field that has seen so many injuries. Torn ACL, torn MCL. It was a major knee reconstruction. And as they head into the offseason, picking 5th in the draft, but beforehand they had free agency and they knew they had a lot of holes to fill. One of the major things that was talked about is how they're going to build around Joe Burrow. Well, free agency, it was mostly focused on the defensive side, looking at some of their big signings they've had. Trey Hendrickson, Chipade Awuzie, Mike Hilton, Larry Ogunjobi, Ricardo Allen. They did bring in Riley Reef for the offensive line. That was just about all we saw on the offensive side in their free agency pool. So heading into the draft, the thought was, okay, they're going to grab the big offensive lineman, Penei Sewell out of Oregon, or Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern. One of these guys, they're going to build an offensive line to keep Joe Burrow upright and see if they could keep him healthy. Well, the Bengals had a different idea in mind as they decided to reunite old buddies, bring in Jamar Chase, number 5 overall out of the draft, to a former LSU teammate of Joe Burrow, one of the top-rated prospects in the draft, but was met with a lot of skepticism as well, as they were trying to figure out why would you take another receiver after T. Higgins had a great rookie year. You had Tyler Boyd, you had other weapons. Why add in another weapon when you had trouble protecting your franchise quarterback? The Bengals saw something there that a few others did as well too. Everyone knew how good Jamar Chase was, but those questions still lingered. But it wasn't even arguably their most questionable decision in the draft, as afterwards they ended up taking Evan McPherson in the 5th round at 149th overall. Not only do you not normally take a kicker in the draft, let alone in round 5 as it is as well too. So heading into the preseason, there were questions all over the place. Jamar Chase had trouble catching the ball. He had 5 drops in the preseason, only 1 catch. Reports where Joe Burrow was struggling with his knee injury, having an absolutely terrible training camp practice as well too. There was talks that he might not be ready. Then immediately the pundits came in with they should have taken Penei Sewell over Jamar Chase. They already made a mistake. We hadn't even got to the regular season yet. So many questions, and for the most part, the Bengals were expected to finish towards the bottom of the AFC North. They were looking at maybe even picking the top 5 again. Their Super Bowl odds were 125-1, on par with teams like Jacksonville, the Jets, the Texans, and the others that picked in the top 5. But the Bengals then came out right away and got off to an incredibly hot start, going 5-2 early on with 2 division wins, including over Pittsburgh and that big win over Baltimore, 41-17. Where Joe Burrow threw for more than 400 yards and Jamar Chase had his coming out party and more than 200 yards receiving, and it looked like the Bengals had arrived and were going to be a force to be reckoned with. That is where they hit a little bit of a rough patch as well too. It was all great there, and then they ran into a 2-4 stretch over the next 6 games that saw them losing 2 teams that they were going to have to potentially play later, like the Chargers or even the 49ers, who were making a playoff push. And they sat at just barely out of the cellar in the AFC North, about half a game ahead of Pittsburgh, with Cleveland and Baltimore out in front of them. And that is when the Bengals started to catch fire. Down the stretch, Joe Burrow had a late season MVP push, throwing for nearly 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns, and no interceptions, 76% completion, and they went 3-1 during that time, while he sat out the last game of the season as well, as they had already clinched the AFC North, as the rest of the division had collapsed around them, as Baltimore and Cleveland would not win the rest of the season minus that final game of the season, and Pittsburgh had managed to claw themselves slightly out of the sweller to make a wildcard spot. But the Bengals were the kings of the North after picking 5th in the draft last year. At the end of the season, Joe Burrow had an outstanding bounce-back season. 4,600 passing yards, 6th in the NFL, 34 touchdowns to 14 interceptions, led the NFL with just over 70% completion, and he all did this while being sacked 51 times, which was the most in the NFL. There was concerns about him getting hit, and while those concerns were still there, he managed to find a way to work through it and become one of the game's best young quarterbacks. And he wasn't the only Joe in the backfield. It's Joe Mixon with more than 1,200 rushing yards, which was 3rd in the NFL, 13 rushing touchdowns, 4th in the NFL, and 292 carries, which was 3rd in the NFL. He had become that big workhorse running back for the Bengals, while even missing some time with it as well too at the back end. And there's of course the man Jamar Chase we mentioned earlier as well. Considered even before we had played a single game, people were already talking about him being a bust of a pick. He managed to put those claims to bed really quickly, finishing with 1,455 receiving yards, 4th in the NFL, and breaking the rookie record by his former teammate Justin Jefferson. 13 receiving touchdowns, 3rd in the NFL, and 651 yards after the catch. That was 3rd in the NFL. And he did this on only 81 catches as well too, establishing himself as one of the game's premier big play weapons on the outside. And that led the Bengals to a playoff game where they'd be hosting the Las Vegas Raiders, who had got on a really big hot streak down the back end of the season, creeping their way into the playoffs and finding themselves as that 5th seed going into Cincinnati. And the Bengals with a really, really strong start to that game But the Raiders, as they've done so often, clawed themselves back, had the ball with a chance to tie this game up. With just seconds left, Jermaine Pratt with a huge interception, and the Bengals would get their first playoff win in more than 3 decades. They had finally done it, and after just picking the top 5 a season ago and looking like they were on pace to potentially pick number 1 again that year, and now they find themselves with a playoff victory. But it wasn't going to get any easier from here, as next they were heading to the number 1 seeded Tennessee Titans for their AFC divisional round, where Mike Vrabel, the future coach of the year, had his defense ready to go. They sacked Joe Burrow 9 times in that game. They had trouble moving the ball offensively. It was pretty much only field goals. Evan McPherson was 3 for 3 at one point when it's tied up at 16 apiece, before the Bengals got a huge interception and sent Evan McPherson out there for the game-winning field goal to make him 4 for 4 on the night. And not to mention, he happened to call ball game as he was heading out onto the field, saying to his teammates, well, guys, it looks like we are heading to the AFC Championship game. And that is exactly what they did, taking out the number 1 seed in their home field. But the toughest was still ahead, as they had to head down now to Kansas City to take on the back-to-back defending AFC champion Chiefs. And it couldn't have got much worse to start out. They were down 21-10 at half. Kansas City had a near perfect half until the last 5 seconds. They were getting the ball coming out of the half. The offense for the Bengals was struggling. Their only touchdown came off of a screen from Samaje Perine, and their defense had absolutely no answers in that first half. It looked like Kansas City was well on their way to a 3rd straight Super Bowl appearance. And that is when Joe Burrow, being the Joe Cool that he is, Joey January, helped lead a comeback for the ages, outscoring the Chiefs 17-3 in the second half in overtime, intercepting Patrick Mahomes twice, including that big interception in overtime, and sending out that man Evan McPherson for the game-winning field goal, 27-24. The Bengals had punched their tickets to LA. They were going from 5th in the draft to one of the last 2 teams left in the NFL, going to Los Angeles to take on the Rams in the Super Bowl. During that time, Joe Burrow established himself as a star, being Joe Shiesty, Joey Franchise, Joey January, Joe Burr, you name it. He has a nickname for every situation. He has a chance to be the first quarterback to win a college football national championship, a Heisman Trophy, and a Super Bowl. He's the 7th quarterback to get to the Super Bowl in his first 2 seasons, and was just recently named the 2021 NFL Comeback Player of the Year as well. So the Bengals, a journey 2 years in the making, have a chance to complete one of the greatest single-season turnarounds in NFL history as they get ready to take on the Rams in what is expected to be a home game for the Rams. But we'll see, because Bengal fans have shown up across the country multiple times during this run.
So there you see it.
There it is. I love it. Love it. Love it. Go ahead, Kelcey.
I was saying, there you see it, DJ. That's how the Bengals got here. But Zach, you said something about being all in for the Rams. Seems to be the theme of it. So, Zach, let's check out how the Rams got here. You're going to tell us all about it.
All in. Defined as, quote, fully committed to a task or endeavor, giving or prepared to give all of one's energy or resources towards something. End quote. This is the motto of the Los Angeles Rams under head coach Sean McVay and GM Les Snead. And it's more than a simple tweet, more than a simple social media post, more than just a phrase. It's been a mindset of an organization since the New England Patriots walked out of Atlanta holding McVay's Rams to a score of 3 points back in Super Bowl 53. It's been a mindset as the following year, the organization looked to spark its secondary with the acquisition of Jalen Ramsey, embattled cornerback from Jacksonville. It took 2 first-round picks, but they didn't mind. It was a certified talent for the here and now that they were acquiring. It's been a mindset since the Rams took the leap to bolster a QB position that needed an extra spark. Jared Goff had taken them to the mountaintop, taken them to a Super Bowl, but couldn't get over that hump, and teams appeared to be catching on. Just over a year prior now, Matthew Stafford was traded to the Los Angeles Rams. In exchange, the Rams shipped out their once-star quarterback, along with 2 first-round draft picks. Seems like a lot of leveraged futures gone. But again, they didn't mind. They kept moving forward. It was about getting to the promised land once more. And even as Von Miller was being traded to the Rams on November 1st, the team already knew what the meaning of this season was even before they would send out again that once infamous tweet. 10 days later, they picked up at the time embattled wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr., a talent whose stardom had waned and had been questioned in recent years, but had something to prove, something that he needed to get off his chest and show to the public that had felt like he had not lived up to his potential. Want even more proof of this method? How about signing former All-Pro safety Eric Weddle back to the roster after safeties Jordan Fuller and Taylor Rapp were hit with injuries going into the playoffs? The catch? Well, Weddle hadn't been in a season in 2 years. He'd been in retirement, sitting on the sideline enjoying the nice and cozy life outside of football. But yet here the Rams were, banking and throwing their chips in on another piece, on a safety who knew the system. Needless to say, so far, it appears to have paid off. It's been a mindset of an organization, all in, that set out to overcome its shortcomings from its missed opportunities in its quest to reach the mountaintop and plant its flag as a true champion. A champion in LA, that is. Remember, they're still, unfortunately, forgetting their past in St. Louis, and something that I still, to this day, myself, am not a fan of, being that they shouldn't have moved in the first place. I digress. I had to put it in this. I had to. It's got to be stated. They're trying to plant their flag as the first time getting LA a championship. Their thinking? Been unconventional. Most people probably wouldn't take the path of leveraging several first-round draft picks and a lot of futures for a team's roster out the door in this fashion. Remember, the Rams won't have a first-round pick until 2024. It's going to be a while. The results, though, concrete up to this point. It's seemed to work. Rams won the division. Here they are now. That doesn't mean it has been easy, though. Obstacles and challenges have presented themselves throughout the season, and they have had to either throw more chips into the table or have had to endure. For example, early into training camp, budding star that is, running back Cam Akers, second year in his tenure with the team after being drafted in 2020, looked to be knocked out for the season after tearing his Achilles tendon early into training camp. The Rams responded, of course, in as much of a fashion as they could, as much of a motto as they could, by trading for New England Patriots veteran running back Sony Michel, an RB that has still youth, one that was expected to be a star for the team, but unfortunately didn't live up to that stardom as of yet. Needless to say, his role very much was filled out well, as him and Darrell Henderson anchored the ship nicely for the majority of the season. As mentioned, of course, speaking of struggles and obstacles to overcome, Odell Beckham was brought in, signing with an unclear role on what he would be as part of an LA Rams organization that already had a loaded receiving corps. We're talking about the likes of already Cooper Kupp, who, the fact I have got through this whole thing and haven't mentioned Cooper Kupp is impressive, but remember, Cooper Kupp almost blowing out the record for receiving this year. We're talking Robert Woods, who has been as consistent as anybody at a number 2 spot in a receiving corps in any team in the NFL, and budding star Van Jefferson, who is becoming the deep threat the Rams really like to throw to on the occasion, where Matthew Stafford could sling the rock and give you that nice bomb dropping right into the breadbasket. Nonetheless, team captain and receiver number 2, Robert Woods, a day after they signed Odell Beckham Jr., almost like clockwork, almost like out of a storybook, goes down with an ACL injury, thrusting Odell into a role where he has to prove himself right away and contribute right away. Those doubters that were worried about that, myself included, would be silenced throughout the year and through the playoffs. In fact, silenced 2 weeks ago. As he became an excellent support as a number 2 receiver, what was even more impressive is he became a leader on the sideline and was respected and has been respected by his teammates. And to put things in perspective as the playoffs loom, the Rams had still been looking to fully click. Even leading into the regular season, NFL fans and pundits were wondering, would this Rams team be Super Bowl worthy with the Matthew Stafford acquisition? Stafford, of course, had his own stat lines and his own records being set, and was known as a comeback kid coming into this year. But in Detroit, he hadn't been able to get it done. Whether it was to a team's faults, or what seemed to be faults on the big stage. This time, however, with an even bigger stage in a media market, and with a team with more aspirations than ever, we would finally get to see that test in Week 1. Conventional thinking for fans and media began to change early in the year, Week 1 that is, as I re-mentioned that, and I would know for a fact, as I watched my Chicago Bears get shellacked on that first try and test of that new Rams attack, against, of course, a familiar foe in Matthew Stafford. He handled things pretty well, I would have to say. Through the first 8 weeks of the year, the Rams set 7-1 with their lone loss only to the then undefeated Arizona Cardinals. An excellent start by most accounts, and with Von Miller trading over to the Rams being announced the day after Halloween, in which the Rams comfortably crushed the rudderless Houston Texans, that expectation and anticipation, mind you, rose. In that essence, now we approach the time of this conversation where we get to the all-infamous and possibly now legendary all-in tweet. It wasn't a secret anymore. This was truly Super Bowl or bust for this Rams squad. The equivalent of an NBA or MLB trade deadline stretch run move that only meant to set their sights on a Lombardi trophy. And in what seemed to be some sort of internet karma, the Rams proceeded to lose the next 3 straight. 2 of those losses in which pundits had considered this team that they were playing dead on arrival. Remember, the Titans lost Derrick Henry in 1 week prior to their Week 9 matchup with the Rams. And in Week 10, the 49ers were looking like a team that would be sitting at home come early January. Add in a loss to the eventual MVP Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, and the luster of the all-in mantra seemed to be the NFL world's easiest punchline during that stretch. But then, just like a jigsaw puzzle, the pieces came together. A crucial rematch in the Week 14 matchup between the Arizona Cardinals loomed, as the Rams would have to visit the Red Sea to take on a then 10-1 roster. On the biggest stage of them all, at least one of the biggest stages, Monday Night Football. In their first meeting, the Cardinals seemed to have all the answers as they buried the Rams in LA. This time around, the Rams stayed blow for blow and delivered the knockout punches in the second half, with the statement being a game-ending sack by none other than the legend himself, Aaron Donald. The Rams would go on to win the division, but a sour taste lingered heading into the playoffs. Yes, they had ran through the rest of their schedule, sometimes with ease, sometimes with a bit of close results. But they went into the wild card on a whimper. Their foe, the San Francisco 49ers, a team that had beaten them at this point 5 straight times since 2019, would get their 6th win in that many times in an overtime victory 27-24, thus concluding a 3rd straight year of the 49ers sweeping their California rivals. That would have to wait, and that story would come up later on, as they would have to face a different rival in their wild card matchup, going back once again to getting their chance to host in LA against the Cardinals. The Rams would go on, of course, to easily dismantle the Arizona Cardinals as they harassed Kyler Murray all day, picking him off twice and making his night a living hell. And I say that lightly. Then came 2 trials to complete the journey to the summit. The first trial in the divisional round was one of composure against the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Rams, bolstered by a monster stat line from Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp, rushed to a 23-7 lead in the 3rd quarter. Doesn't that sound slightly familiar? Things seem to be in the bag. Again, doesn't that sound a little familiar? Not pointing any fingers. But remember, this is a Tom Brady-led Buccaneers team we're talking about. One that has an opportunistic defense in tow. This is a man, Brady we're meaning, that has defied everything and anything come his time in regular season and playoff play in his 22-year career. Anything can happen. And like clockwork, it most certainly did. The Rams would see a 27-3 lead become a tie with 42 seconds left in the fourth, thanks to a slew of miscues and turnovers. Arguably, last year's Rams, led by Jared Goff, would have faltered at this point. This is a moment Matthew Stafford was brought for. He's the comeback kid, after all. 42 seconds and one massive Cooper Kupp throw later, and the Rams were packing their bags back to home sweet home in Inglewood, California for their second test. Another rematch with the San Francisco 49ers. San Fran used their dominant performance in Week 9 over the Rams, funny enough, to catapult themselves from a 3-5 start to a 10-7 finish, making themselves a 6th seed going into the playoffs, knocking off Dallas and the Packers, a team that had beaten the Rams both on the road. And in terms of LA, the Rams had lost the previous 6 matchups, as mentioned, dating back to 2019. This was a personal matchup. This meant more. It's a division rival, and one that was the gatekeeper to going to Super Bowl 56. The 49ers had momentum in the third quarter after jumping to a 17-7 lead thanks to a touchdown reception from George Kittle. LA was going to need to dig deep here in front of what was once again appearing to be a sea of fans from the Bay, and what Bay fans were starting to call Levi of the South, in reference to Levi Stadium back in Santa Clara. In fashion that defines the pieces that make the Rams' persona shine, Matthew Stafford would ball out when it mattered the most, with Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham Jr. each hitting the century mark in reception yards on that stat sheet, including 2 touchdowns to Cooper Kupp himself. And that defense, by the way, well, it did its part and encapsulated their ticket for a staycation back in Inglewood for Super Bowl 56, as Aaron Donald pressured and then forced an ill-advised throw from Jimmy Garoppolo into the waiting hands of Travin Howard. It was a moment made for Hollywood. To fully cement the nature of All In, there is one last step. Plant the flag at the top of that mountain. With more to prove and the stakes higher than ever before, the final card is left to be played. And if fortunes favor the bold, they just might finish with the mother of all jackpots. This is the LA Rams, and this is their journey to Super Bowl 56. I'm waiting.
I'm confused. I wasn't going to make a Jay Cutler joke just yet. I was saving this one for much later. Maybe.
Well, I wasn't waiting around this time.
I see you. Throw the first punch. I get it. Hey, that was a fantastic storyline. Look, All In has been the Rams mantra. It's what got him here. It's been fantastic to watch. I think it's safe to say. I don't know about you guys, Dan, Jason. What do you think? This is fantastic storylines to get these guys in here.
Yeah, great job, guys. I mean, what a great storyline for both teams so far this season. I mean, again, I mentioned earlier, I think Cincinnati is the one that I'm really looking forward to see play out today, but the Rams have such a great story as well. And again, we mentioned earlier, playing at home. Wow, great job, Zach and DJ. Appreciate that. Dan, we can't hear you, sir.
Yeah, I'll mute myself. Rookie mistake. The great thing about going to the Super Bowl is that there's this huge storyline for both teams. And it starts back all the way from August. And you forget the season's so long. It feels like a lifetime ago what happened early on in September. Remember the Rams? They started off super hot. Cincinnati, we still didn't know what they were yet. We didn't know what Joe Burrow was going to be coming off the knee injury either. And to see these two teams go in this direction was really great to be encapsulated by DJ and Zach there. Great job, guys.
I do want to point out, though, Zach, is you misspelled Jay Cutler's name in there, so the Jay Cutler joke comes firing right back as well. Too. So, I mean, you told the Jay Cutler joke yourself here.
To be
Sometimes
fair,
you
with
get a
all
little
the
excited.
misspellings,
It's
we're just keeping par, of course, at this point in time.
I'm just saying, if we're gonna have the Jay Cutler jokes, I'm all in on it. I just
Billy Up Sports, the network of dyslexia.
Grammar police strike again.
Reading is fundamental.
We call it the big game Bonanza, but we couldn't even spell Bonanza right.
Noticing 1 minute prior.
Bonanza. Like a banana and Bonanza,
It's a new term. It's the new belly up term. It's every time we get together, we're going to call it a Bonanza.
Patent pending.
Tomato.
But look, so we got those breakdowns, and both are great storylines. But I think the key part of this is which team has the most pressure. That's what these storylines really build up to. Which team has the most pressure? And I think a lot of people want to say that it's the Rams and the Bengals have no pressure because they shouldn't have been there. But when you're a young team and you shock people and you get to this stage, there are a level of expectations now. And we know Joe Burrow has been able to live up to those expectations. But what about the rest of that team? Are they going to be good to go? And I'm not talking about the offense. I'm talking about the defense. I'm talking about the offensive line. All week long, or 2 weeks really, the storyline has been, if they're going to lose, it's because the offensive line is bad. It's because the secondary is also bad. All the pressure has been focused on, look, Cincinnati, great job, but these two things are not going to allow you to win the game. That's why the Rams are the favorites. It's why most people are picking them to win. So I think there is a great deal of pressure on the Cincinnati side, despite coming from nowhere, kind of theoretically speaking. What do you guys feel like?
So DJ, you took the AFC how they got there. So I'm gonna let you take this one first.
Yeah, there's a little bit of pressure as is when you get to the Super Bowl, but when you look at it, they have absolutely no business being there. They were 125-1 odds. If I'd have known they were going to get here, I'd have bet $10 and I'd be retiring here pretty soon as well too. If I'd have known they had this on their horizon. And I think the most expectation is looking at Joe Burrow. He's been absolutely fantastic. He has every nickname in the book. If he goes out and lays an absolute dud and throws like 4 picks and looks like Carson Palmer when he's in his last game with the Cardinals, or Jake Delhomme last game with the Panthers and wets the bed, then there's a little bit of pressure to avoid doing something like that. But I think as long as they don't get completely ramrodded 35-7, I don't think they'll have too much pressure either way, because everyone on that team is like under 27 years old. It feels like as well too. They have a chance at being back. Nothing is guaranteed, obviously, as well too. Not every quarterback gets there in their second year and is able to bounce back multiple times. But I do think that there's definitely all the pressure is kind of all in on the Rams. I mean, they spent the entire house and borrowed a few houses and spent that as well too and sold those. If it was Monopoly, they would have mortgaged everything for Broadway at the end. So I think more of the pressure's on them, but the Bengals aren't without their own as well. But Joe Burrow, because he's cool under pressure. So we'll see.
Zach, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm a San Fran fan. And from my perspective, the burden, the obstacle, the monkey on the back for the Rams was getting past San Fran. I almost feel like getting past them and getting to the Super Bowl has left them feeling refreshed. They don't have the mental block that they had heading into this thing. So in some ways, I feel like winning that game took some pressure off their back. And now, instead of Sean McVay being the whipping boy for Kyle Shanahan, he gets to put the whipping on his protege and Zach Taylor.
It is kind of a piece to the story is how I put it. And yeah, it definitely relieves pressure. Again, when you lose 6 straight times over the course of 3 seasons, you kind of have to find a way past your rivals. I understand that completely. However, thinking back to the start of the 2021 season, thinking back to when this SoFi Stadium was being built and when they scheduled the Super Bowl, it's been almost a manifest destiny of sorts for the Rams to try and make a push to legitimize themselves in that LA market, to get to a Super Bowl, to host that, and to win it. I think that the final piece to the puzzle will be to win this Super Bowl. I think it's almost a big, and bear in mind how I say this, a big middle finger to those that hated that the Rams moved to Los Angeles. And I think the NFL also has looked at that in a similar light. If Stan Kroenke gets a trophy, then all is forgotten to them. They have a trophy. They justify moving to LA. Things are done. So the pressure to me, they have to win this. If they lose, everybody starts laughing because All In was a flop on the final stage.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Guys, we got more coming up on the Belly Up Sports' Big Game Bonanza on the other side. We're going to be talking about the best halftime shows with Andrew LeDuc from Divots and Pivots. He's going to be coming on in the next segment. Everyone stay tuned to the Belly Up Sports' Big Game Bonanza. We'll be back right after this.
Get your party started with the Kong Beer Bong. You get a can cooler for those chilled, laid-back get-togethers, and a built-in beer bong for when things start to get a little wild. It's portable and ready to party no matter where you are in the world. It's perfect for any holiday event. And the party doesn't stop there. They have an assortment of fun party accessories to take your party to the next level. Be the most wanted party animal for any get-together with the Kong Beer Bong. Visit bellyupsports.com today. Click our partners tab. All shipments in America are free.
All right. Gotta love that. Love that from Jason Coop, man. Hey, guess what, guys? You're back on the big game Bonanza from Belly Up Sports. We're live on Belly Up TV at bellyup.tv on every single one of your favorite devices. You can always download us on your Roku by downloading the Belly Up Sports channel there. And we'll be streaming simultaneously on the Belly Up Sports YouTube account. If you want to drop in, say hi, just like Sean did just now. He said hi. Hello, Sean. Welcome into the show. Hey, guys, guess what? We have a lot more content to talk about getting you guys ready for your Super Bowl Sunday. I'm Dan, joined with Jason, joined with Kelcey, where we host for the rest of the afternoon. But we also have Mr. Andrew LeDuc here from Divots and Pivots. He's going to be talking about the best halftime shows in this segment. But Andrew, how you doing today?
I'm good. I should have sent you the correct pronunciation of my last name, though. It's LeDuc, but that's no big deal. It's okay. It's okay.
Why don't like a duck and talk about your best halftime shows?
Hey, look, I've heard some worse pronunciations of my last name, so it's all good.
Well, Duke rhymes with puke, kind of like the jersey you have on today. So, bada bing.
Look, I just knew Mac Jones was coming back in 2014 when I got this. So
is that why it's almost burning away at the bottom there? Like,
yes,
what's happening there?
There's been a lot of, with all the Super Bowls that the Patriots are in, I get stressed and I lean forward on my knees a lot. It gets crunched up. I'm sure all the Coops jerseys are like pristine right now. So.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, they don't get much use right now. So,
you know what? I wanted to get through one Super Bowl that having to see a Patriots jersey in it. Okay, that's all I wanted, and you just ruined all of it. Completely. Let's get to the next segment. I don't want to talk about anything else.
Look,
Andrew, you came up with a top 10 list for our best
top 10,
halftime shows. Everyone loves. I mean, today's halftime show? I'm very much looking forward to it.
I
Snoop Dogg
to put it in my top 10 already without it happening.
Did you without even happening? I was tempted. I don't blame you. I wouldn't have blamed you at all. I mean, you're talking about if you're a fan of 90s rap, of late 80s rap, you're gonna be having your mind blown. Not to mention Kendrick Lamar and Mary J. Blige to even it all out. So I can't wait for today's halftime show. But Andrew, take it away.
Yeah, so I want to first get us started with a little bit of a payback to all the times that Coop has made me look stupid on his show with his trivia questions.
That's coming up in the next segment.
Here we go. The setup was made.
So Jason Coop, real fast here. I want to know, do you know the first year the Super Bowl halftime shows broke away from the whole marching band segment, and who was it?
I definitely don't know who it was. I'm just going to guess because I have no idea. I'm going to say 1980.
You're wrong. Okay, so
no chance.
1976, Up With the People.
Nice. I like that.
I didn't know what it was, but I had the advantage.
Well, Jason should know. He was talking about how the Dolphins used to win Super Bowls all the time. That's about the time.
That's true.
That's your Dolphins' heyday.
That was back, all right. The 70s was my day. I mean, wasn't even born yet, and I was getting titles. So that's how we do it.
76 especially. Come on now.
And then funny enough, 1991 was actually the first year that they completely cut the marching bands out with New Kids on the Block. And they actually had a kids choir sing "It's a Small World." So I don't know if anybody remembers that Super Bowl. I don't. I was 2. But...
Wow, Drew, you are hanging tough. That's for sure.
But no, so we got some top 10s here. So I want to clear this up because there's already been some hatred towards my list in the pre-show here. That the way I made this list was not necessarily most memorable shows, but the criteria I used was based off of just flow of music, entertainment wise, and like production overall, just kind of badass show. So I want to start actually with my worst ever, Black Eyed Peas. Can we all agree that show was brutal. It was live auto-tuned, should have ended with that performance. And I think it was like 2011 or something like that. That show was as if it was the kid in the crowd at a party who thought he was great at rapping, who was, quote unquote, working the crowd in the corner by himself. Like, that show was awful.
I hope Will.i.am never catches a glimpse of what you just said. Because I don't know if we have the heat to stand up to that one, but that's some fire coming out immediately.
Well, I think what made it worse is I just watched it again this morning to make sure I want to say it. Not only did they have the auto-tune on the mic live on the performance, he then was trying to change his voice with the auto-tune. And it was, I remember watching that live when it first happened. I think, like I said, I think it was 2011. I remember thinking it was brutal. So I'm glad to put that on my worst list today. But we're going to get into the good stuff here. We're going to get into number 10. I'm going with this one just from a pure great music and flow and knowing the moment you're in and not trying to do too much but the greats. I'm going with 2008 Tom Petty. Rocking it with he went out there, just did his thing. He had the confidence to just say, hey, this is me. You brought me here because this is who I am. This is what you love. And I'm just going to sing and you're going to enjoy it. And it was good. Like, it wasn't flashy. It was, there's going to be other things on this list that are on here because of the production. But Tom Petty just went out there and crushed it for what he's known for, and I had to love it. So I'm putting him at number 10, and then we're gonna go into number 9.
Can I just say I hate Tom Petty? Go ahead.
Hey, listen, you're free falling already here, Dan. And I want to just say real quickly, Andrew, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I wanted to chime in on the worst. 1997 was the worst. It was the Blues Brothers halftime show.
Okay.
To me, that was the worst.
Well, no, we're talking about worse. Worse was the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm sorry. That was awful. That was a bunch of 60-year-old dudes who could not sing, couldn't carry a tune. The music was all off. That was I remember this because it was leading into that halftime show. My wife was a huge fan, and she was looking forward to that. And I was like, what are you talking about? This is the worst thing in the planet. That to me had to be the worst.
Dan's giving it away now
because they weren't the main act, though. They just came in for like the last.
But they ruined it all. I don't remember who the main act was. That's how bad they were.
See, I think Bruno Mars crushed that show for the first half of it. Like, I give props to him, but fine, I get it. But no, for the Blues Brother call out, fantastic call out. Agreed. They did that after Belushi died, and they brought up his brother instead. And you watch that back, and they all just look old, and it wasn't great. I agree with that. But my number 9, and this one I think some people love this one, and I just thought it was a little overrated, but the J-Lo and Shakira from 2020. I think some people want it higher on the list.
Pause. What? I'm sorry.
Overrated?
Time out.
Are you blind?
Play on the play. What is happening?
The best part of that show was when J-Lo's daughter Emma came out and rocked that song with Shakira on the drums. That was the best part of that show.
Did you not see the two people you were supposed to look at the entire time?
Yeah. That entire show.
No one was looking at the music, man.
Like I said, I did this from a musical entertainment standpoint, and from that entire show, the two of them didn't care about the music either. They just wanted to go up there and do the so sexy. And they're not wrong. They're not wrong. That part was great.
I was trying to fit a dollar bill for the TV in my mouth.
I've ever had during a halftime show.
I mean, I've heard
experience during a halftime.
It's still in my top 10.
A lot of females like that show. That's why that's high on the list. I wasn't bad, but like you said, Drew, they forgot about the music too. I agree with you there.
Yeah, there was some quality issues with that going on.
All I could say was, how is J-Lo keeping up with Shakira at this age? That's all I could think about.
That part was very impressive. I will agree with that.
Money helps. Money helps.
Money helps. And then, okay, so we're gonna.
Jason's wife is watching. That's why he's got to be PC.
Hey, we're not. Hey, wait till we talk about Janet Jackson. It's all fall free game then.
But will we?
Better. Oh, you better hurry up and get to that part.
Oh, we will.
Number 8, 1993. I'm bringing in the other Jackson, the Michael Jackson. This was, I think, one of his last massive great performances before things kind of started going downhill for him. And Michael Jackson, when he hits that stage, when he was in his prime, there's a reason why he was the king of pop. There was no one better than him in that. And I think he owned that moment. He owned that stage. And I think it also opened the door for halftime shows following that. Because the other, like I said, New Kids on the Block in '91 kind of stopped the marching band phase, but 1993 was with Michael Jackson was kind of the first like fully produced halftime show that they started kind of rolling in after that to what we have today with colored drones in the sky and crap like that. So I got to give it a nod to Michael Jackson, even though I'm not a massive fan of his music. I think he did what he needed to do in that show for sure. And then number 7, the Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger, 2006. That man is an entertainer. You can't tell me how old, I don't know how old he was in 2006.
He was decrepit already.
But he rocked the stage as if he was still in his 30s. And it was just impressive.
Well, he's been decrepit since he was 30. So
fair enough.
He's been
a
walking
Grim Reaper's
skeleton
dad
since he was
as soon as he
30.
came out of the womb.
Yeah.
But I think something that I gave a nod to when it came to making my list is that entertainers that could do it without a million like guest appearances and could just own the stage themselves, like the Rolling Stones did, like Michael Jackson did, Tom Petty, like that's some power, that's some confidence.
To be fair, Mick Jagger has a million personalities, so he made a million different guests in one show. So
fair enough.
Again, it's all the souls he's getting from his Grim Reaper dad.
Exactly. Absolutely.
I do remember that halftime show, but I do remember at that age, I was like, why these guys? So I remember watching it and not really feeling it because at the age I was at. So, and Michael Jackson, by the way, way too low, bro. Go ahead.
You think
I didn't want to say it, but I mean, I feel like I was 2 at the time, so I can't really
see
give
where
that
this
one
list
credence.
goes.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. All right.
I mean, we did have J-Lo and Shakira at 8, so I don't know how much I can trust his
come
list.
Don't hate the list. All right. Number 6, Katy Perry and Missy Elliott.
Yeah, that was tremendous.
That was I think overall production. I think that the massive rolling line like that
was cool.
jazz.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but I was going to bring up Left Shark. Shark obviously just made internet crazy. But I also as someone who grew up in the early 2000s, the late 90s, around kind of that hip hop rap scene and whatnot. To see Missy Elliott, the silhouette and you hear that bass, you know exactly what song it is. You're like, all right, Missy Elliott's back, and that was just a moment that I felt like needed to be represented on this list because it was.
No, that was great. But I also remember I was never a Katy Perry fan, but I was so impressed with the show that she put on.
Yeah,
that I was like, wow, I was blown away because I had very little expectations for it, and I was completely blown away by the show that was put on there. So yeah, that's solid for sure.
I completely agree.
Of the moment, boom.
Yeah.
Nope, I agree. And then we already know how you guys are going to feel about this next one because I personally, in 2014, loved the Bruno Mars halftime show. And yes, Red Hot Chili Peppers just went out there and did what they always do and jump around shirtless and scream a bunch of nonsense. But I thought before that, Bruno Mars, that was because that was 2014. That was borderline kind of when he was really hitting the top of his game.
Yeah.
He really came out in that halftime show. And I remember watching that and saying man, this guy can groove. He's got funk. He's got everything you want to know. This is just fun. And he had a drum solo in there, I think. Anytime you open up with a drum solo from someone you don't expect to play the drums, as a drummer myself, you got me. So I had to put him in my top 5.
Well, see, the halftime show he did solo, and I can't remember which year that was. That was tremendous because he did 2. The one he did completely by himself.
That's true. Yes, he did.
The Red Hot Chili Peppers just ruined the whole.
Yeah,
thing. I don't remember who did the halftime show.
And we got to go through the whole halftime show, Drew, not just the half, just like in football. So to me, this is way out of
You're saying this is the Atlanta Falcons of the list. Okay, making sure we're on the same page.
Before we get into, so I personally think that my top 4 is going to be kind of unarguable with you guys, other than this one. So we're going to talk about this one.
We're going to talk
that. We're going to talk about this one because I know Coop and Kelcey are itching to get to it. Janet Jackson and JT is not on my list. Here.
All right, we're done. Cut.
Look,
3 hours turned into 4.
I was waiting for it.
We made it 1 hour into the show, guys. Good job. We'll see you next year.
Is it
Andrew threw the whole thing off.
Is it the most memorable halftime performance?
Which makes it
100%.
number one.
Is it the best? It's at least top 10.
This is best not memorable because this is also the most memorable because it ended MTV as we know it, or as we knew it, I should say.
Good.
I mean,
Out of here with that. TLC
who
MTV.
cares?
Who cares? Exactly.
Look, you want to talk about visual
MTV
production,
or Janet Jackson's boobies.
Jessica
I choose Janet
Simpson
Jackson's
was
boobies.
involved in this halftime show, guys.
and it was still the most
Awful.
memorable halftime show.
Listen, Justin Timberlake at the end of the day exuberates coolness, and we sat here and mentioned we're guys. We don't want to sit through the halftime show. We got to see a boobie, and it's not in the top 10.
I missed it. I wasn't paying attention. You don't expect a boobie to pop out in the halftime
That's
show.
Exactly.
Thank you for proving our point. Move on. We got to keep this thing rolling. Go.
All right, we got to keep it rolling. Number 4 for me, Lady Gaga, 2017. She jumping off the top of the stadium to God Bless America and just everything that she brings. She's just one of the best performers, one of the most talented musicians I've seen in my lifetime. Yeah, I got to give it up to Lady Gaga and what she did in 2017. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, she did.
I'll
She
give
did
you
a
that.
great job.
Number 3, yeah, go ahead.
I'll say maybe she might be a little higher depending on what you have ahead of you.
So she could have been my number 3, and I'm not necessarily proud of my number 3, but this was one of those.
This list
where
is already in the toilet anyway.
No.
I'm not proud of my number 3.
Because I don't like them because I don't like their music. But this is one of those halftime shows where I remember just feeling the full emotions of it. And even though I don't like U2, the fact that entire halftime show was dedicated to September 11th with the names reading down the screen, the American jacket, and the American flag in the jacket, it just struck a chord with me when you're watching that. And so that was one of the best for me as well. So
okay, good job.
You want to take back the
I'll take that back. That's
still
good.
Number one spot. Go ahead. Keep it rolling.
Okay. And then number 2, Beyonce, her solo one. She's just a performer. She crushes it.
Yeah.
Nonstop dancing, nonstop bass bumping. Look, she's hot. She can move. The fire, the smoke, everything. Like that show was a great one. And then number 1, we talked about this pre-show.
I know what Kelsey's gonna say. I'm with you on one of this one.
I don't like the Prince call.
Before we go, how do you use Beyonce as gorgeous and beautiful and not consider the fact that Shakira and J-Lo are gorgeous and beautiful? That's
on the same page right there.
But I'm gonna give him his defense here. Beyonce didn't forget about the music. That's what I think.
Beyonce is music. Like she can just walk. She has her own back tune as she's walking down the street. That's not fair.
And that's why she deserves to be number 2. She crushes it.
I'm not arguing with that. I'm just saying. But
Prince number 1.
What's the number 1?
And number one is Prince. You factor in that stage. You factor that it was in the rain. You factor the crowd. He did it alone. He played the hits. That show was just awesome.
It was amazing. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
So
I can accept Prince at 1.
You could take it or leave it. But that's my list. And
besides number 1, I'm leaving it. I'm leaving it hard.
I could do some adjusting to your list easily, but you know what? I respect number 1.
You landed number 1. Good job, Andrew. Good job.
I think you needed to add Bruce Springsteen in there. I think he needed to go in there.
I thought about Bruce. He would have been in like the back end of my list.
As somebody who lives in New Jersey, I'm so sick of Bruce.
Well, and I just don't really like Bruce, so this is
so sick of it.
Yeah.
But can't necessarily argue with the show that he puts on. Real quickly, we got a minute. Where do you guys? We haven't seen it yet, but where do you guys think this halftime show is going to rank?
Number 1.
It's got to be up there, 1 or 2. The one thing I'm going to say is if I hear anyone complaining after this one, you're done. You're done. I don't want to hear nothing else because this is gets everybody. If you don't like 90s hip hop, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, this is going to be top 5 guaranteed. Like top 5 guaranteed, potentially top 2 depending on your ranking system and not Andrew's ranking system.
I almost put them in there just because I have so much expectations for it. So
we got to see it first. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back on the other side, we got the Family Fantasy Feud game by Mr. Jason Cooper that's going to be coming up after this. So everybody stay tuned. Stay with us on the Belly Up Sports Big Game Bonanza on Belly Up TV, powered by Tiki Live, and available to you on Roku. We'll be back right after this.
So, are you a sports fan? Are you an athlete? Or do you just want to look and feel like one? Well, I got news for you. The outdoors is the ultimate sport, but you can't play unless you can see. Yeet sunglasses provide the gift of high-quality sight in the roughest of environments. From the crashing ocean waves to the high peaks of the mountains, Yeet sunglasses are designed to be the most durable, comfortable, dependable, anti-wear and tear products on the market. Not only are they made with the utmost quality, but they're available at affordable prices for everyone. Go to yeetsofficial.com right now, and use the promo code BELLYUP to save 10% on your next order. That's 10% on anything you order from yeetsofficial.com. What does that cover? Let me tell you. At Yeets Official, we have sunglasses, we have winter goggles, we have fashionable sunglasses. So if you're looking for new eyewear, if you're looking for something that make you have more fun in the sun, go to yeetsofficial.com, use code BELLYUP, save 10% on.
All right, continuing our Belly Up Big Game Bonanza with a fun fantasy feud that you are not going to want to miss. Guess what? We have some big name guests coming in to play today because it is for the Super Bowl. Big prizes going on. Here we go. Let's welcome in our first guest, Jeff Lambert. He is from goingfor2.com. My brother, welcome to the studio.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me, man. I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I'm excited. Hey, it's Super Bowl Sunday, so we are pumped for sure. Your opponent's pumped. I know he's ready. I can see him salivating in the back room. Let's bring him in. He's ready. Anthony Servino, welcome to the studio from FF Faceoff.
What's going on, guys?
Whole lot of nada. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Like I said, it's time to get live, get ready. And for you two, the great thing is it's time to play the feud. Brad?
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. It's going to be a long game. I doubt this game's going to be long. We got some top-notch. But listen, I threw some top-notch questions at you guys as well. So we're going to see what you guys got. All right, I explained the rules already to you earlier. We're just going to bring the question. You guys shout it out. Let's see who gets it first. He gets the answer first. Here we go. First question. Name the top 5 fantasy performances in Super Bowl history.
Jerry Rice receiving yards, 212 receiving yards.
Jerry Rice. Correct. You do have Jerry Rice on the board at number 3 on the list. So you have number 3. You control, my friend. Good luck. What else do you got for this round?
All right, let's go with leading rusher in the single game, Mr. Timmy Smith for the Washington then Redskins.
Timmy Smith.
That hurt.
Oh, off to a rough start. All right, but you got the first one. Let's see what else you got.
Let's go with James White. I think he had 3 touchdowns for the Patriots.
James White. That is correct. In Super Bowl, I wrote down Super Bowl 51. That's so he 33.9 points for James White. Jerry Rice also with 33.9. That was in Super Bowl 29. So got to bring that up. All right, so you got answers 3 and 4. You got 1, 2, and 5 left with 1 strike.
We're including quarterbacks in this, I'm assuming, too?
Yes, any performance. Yes, sir.
I'm going to go with Steve Young's. I think he threw 5 touchdowns, maybe 6 touchdowns.
Nasty. Steve Young, concussions and all, nasty on Super Bowl 29, 41.9 points, bro. So you got number 1, 3, and number 4 performances. You got 1 strike, 2 and 5 are left.
Oh, man, now I'm running out of names here. Let me think. Man, this is tough. I'm gonna go with let's go with Marcus Allen. Let's go back to, I think he had a pretty big game against the Redskins as well.
He did, but not good enough. Two strikes against you. You still got the number 2 and number 5 top for fantasy performance of all time.
Let's see who else had huge games. I'm gonna just pick some guys that have been. I'm gonna go with Tom Brady. Let's see if Tom Brady had any in there.
Tom Brady, avocado shakes, but not fakes. Anthony, your time. It's your time, bro. You got 2 and 5. You can steal it here.
You know, Jeff really got a lot of my guesses, so I'm gonna. What about Terrell Owens?
Terrell Owens. Unfortunately, no, sir. So the number 2 performance that you missed was Joe Montana, Super Bowl 19, 37.1 points. And number 5 all time, Terrell Davis, Super Bowl 32, 33.5 points. So, hey, them the breaks, as they say. Jeff, you have taken the lead going into round 2. All right, here we go. Teams with the most losses in Super Bowl history.
Bills.
Buffalo Bills. That's the easy one. They're number 3 on the list. Well, actually, they're tied at 3 with 3 and 4 on the list, but they are on here. I marked them down as number 3 with 4 losses in the Super Bowl. All right, let's see what else you got for this round.
Broncos should be in there.
Denver Broncos. Got them listed at number 2 with 5 losses.
Who else? I'm going through all the divisions in my head here, trying to think of who I'm missing here. Is it like a timer?
Yeah, which usually once you get a little bit of time, like
Super Bowl losses. Who else? Let's go with I don't know, the Bengals. I know they lost at least 2.
Cincinnati Bengals. All right, that's your first strike. You do have the number 2 and number 3 on this list.
2 and 3. I know I'm probably missing like the super obvious one. I know it's like in my head, I'm sure. I just can't think of it right now. Let's go with oh man, I am choking bad here. Let's go with the Raiders.
The Raiders. Ooh-wee, my brother. Boy, you're gonna leave a lot of meat on the bone for Anthony right now. All you got is 2 and 3.
I see him down there. He looks pretty confident too. I think he's got one
He's ready. He's ready. He got one ace in the hole.
It's the advantage of not being on the spot. He gets to sit there and think about it. All right, let's see here. Let's go through these divisions again. I know I'm missing an easy one. I've got to be missing an obvious one. Oh man. I'm just gonna say let's go with the Carolina Panthers. I think they've lost 2.
The Carolina Panthers. There is a lot of meat on this bone, Anthony. A lot. This is we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams on this list. He has number 2 and number 3 of the Broncos and the Bills.
Okay, how about the Dolphins?
The America's team, the Dolphins. Disrespecting the host will get you nowhere, sir, but it does get you the round here. You got the Dolphins here. We got them tied at number 5. Number 1 on this list, the New England Patriots. 5 losses. They've been there so many times. We were not.
Wow, yeah.
Minnesota Vikings, number 4 on this list as well, with 4 losses. Rams, number 3. Or excuse me, they were number 5 with 3 losses. I would have moved this round
out if I was first.
Dolphins 3, and the Cowboys actually has 3 losses as well. So they were also on this list. I would have gave it to you if you got it. All right, so good job. We're getting some trivia going. All right, the best thing about this is that, these people, we're going to a party. You're hearing some good stuff. You can throw some really good bets out at your guest today. So here we go, round 3. Name the 6 longest plays in Super Bowl history.
Oh. Come on.
I think Marcus Allen had a really long run.
Marcus Allen. I think I went too hard. Maybe I went too hard on this one.
That was a good guess, Jeff. That was actually, I thought of that too.
Now, these, I should have mentioned, now these are longest plays. So these also could be returns, things of that nature. So maybe I should have thrown that out there earlier, but plays, just keep that in mind.
Oh, I know one of them, and I can't think of his name right now. He has like he's the longest possible play you could have. It's a 108-yard return. I can't think of his name. Damn. What about John Riggins? I think he's got a long run as well.
Riggo.
John Riggins. This round might take forever. This might be a round. If somebody just gets one of them, I might give it to you.
Oh man.
Goodness. Yeah, I might have went too hard on this one. I saw earlier this week, like on Instagram, they showed the longest one of the longest pass plays. I thought, okay, well maybe I'm not gonna make it too easy, put pass plays. So that's why I kind of mixed it up with longest plays. So we got a few returns on here if you guys can think of any.
Devin Hester. What about Devin Hester?
Devin Hester. All right, it's got somebody on the list. Hallelujah. He's in at number 4. All right, see if you can name anyone else for these longest plays.
I'm just going to start picking guys that have been there a lot. Let's go with Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice? I had to look down at the list to make sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else has had long plays.
I did the research and couldn't remember. So
I know there's a guy, and I don't want to say the team that he's from, but I know because it was against my team. I just can't think of his freaking name. It's escaping me right now.
I will tell you, you nailed how long the return was. You nailed that. You just got to name the player.
What is his name? It's gonna kill me. I know as soon as you say it, I'm like, oh duh. I got one. Willie Parker. I think he had like a 70+ yard run.
Willie Parker. Ooh,
how long was Willie Parker's run? I mean, that was a long run.
If it was in the 70s, it wasn't long enough.
Oh man. What is that guy's name? Oh my God, it's gonna kill me. And I know as soon as you say it. So I blocked that Super Bowl out because I don't want to think about it anymore. So that's why I don't know the name. Who else has been in there a lot? Let's go with someone random that's been there a little bit. Let's go with John Taylor.
John Taylor. All right, Anthony, pull a name out your hat, my brother.
James Harrison.
James Harrison.
That's all I got.
He pulled it out indeed. So, all right. So Jacoby Jones was the guy you were looking for. He had a 108-yard kick return.
What about Desmond Howard? Was he on the list?
He's there. I'm getting there. Now he's ready. Now he's like, I should have got that route. I'm ready. James Harrison, Super Bowl 43, 100-yard interception return. Desmond Howard, Super Bowl 31, 99-yard kick return. Devin Hester, his was Super Bowl 41, 92-yard kick return. Then number 5, Mushin Muhammad. That was Super Bowl 38, 85-yard reception from Jake Loom.
Yeah, he's not even close to my list.
And then the blast from the past of the finish the list, Ricky Sanders, Super Bowl 22, 80-yard TD from Doug Williams. And if I remember, I think that was like the fastest touchdown or something like that. Or maybe they struck back early. I couldn't even remember, but anyway, blast from the past on that one. Good job, Anthony. You have taken the lead here. So we are going into round 4. Let's see. Now this is the money round. Anthony wins this. It's night, Jeff. So you got to pull this out here. Here we go. Round 4. This was a survey done. Name the top 5 halftime shows in Super Bowl history.
Oh, jeez.
The halftime shows I've even watched. There's probably not even 5 that I've watched.
The top 5? Who ranked? But who is this according to?
This was actually a survey done. I don't no cheating now, but it was on NBC.com. Actually, the survey done.
I'm gonna guess the Katy Perry because it's the only one I can think of right now.
Katy Perry.
The shark.
Listen, she might have kissed a girl and liked it, but man, brother, you sure got this round. Great job. All right, let's go. Name some other ones. Just pull them out of your hat. Let's see if they're on there.
Let's go with Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson.
Justin Timberlake gonna have you naked. He was actually number 4, and my bad, I forgot to mention Katy Perry was number 5 on this list. So that was Super Bowl 38 was Justin, and Katy Perry Super Bowl 49.
All right.
My bad, a little early on that.
A little too much confidence in me right there. Let's see. I'm just trying to think of Super Bowl halftime shows that I can even remember right now. Let's go with Coldplay. I know Coldplay had one.
Coldplay?
Yeah.
Now just think it. This is Survey of America, so it's not it's not just the fellas, the lady man. So we got everybody involved in the survey.
Everybody. Damn, who else has even been a halftime show that I can't even think of? I always change the channel or I go get food or get a beer. I missed most of the halftime shows. I gotta stop winning the little competition here.
You're too quick. You get the pressure. Anthony's got the right strategy. He's just waiting.
He's letting me win it so he can sit there and think.
Like a sniper just waiting.
Like Fortnite.
Yeah.
I'm nasty with that sniper rifle.
Nice.
What about Bruno Mars?
Oh, don't believe me. Just watch. Come on. He's actually in at number 3 on this list. Good job there. You got 2 left.
Let's just go with the one that just happened recently, The Weeknd.
The Weeknd.
Shocked by that.
I personally enjoyed it. I don't know why it's not on this list. Maybe just too recent.
Too recent, maybe, yeah. All right, let's see. Who else? I think didn't Madonna have one? I think Madonna was a halftime show at one point.
Madonna, like a virgin. You're not touched for the very first time on that one. Indeed, Anthony, your chance to steal it, my brother. You got some meat, a little bit of meat left on this one.
I have a couple of. How about Aerosmith?
Aerosmith. Dude's not looking like a lady on that one. Listen, you got Prince. Prince at number 1. I even like that one. The Purple Rain and the rain, and I mean that was so cool. I thought that was.
It's gotta be. I just thought of it now. Jennifer Lopez and what's her name?
Shakira?
Yeah, Shakira. Is that the other
Yeah,
one?
actually, I think that might have been a little too soon too, because at number 2 it was Michael Jackson at number 2. So
That's what I was going to say, and I said Aerosmith.
Yes, indeed. Well, listen, I actually like that you didn't get it, because we go all the way to the final round, round 5, where it's all on the line. We're going to get back to the football. I just threw that little bonus thing here just to mess with you. Now, generally, when we do trivia, they want to know how many points are scored, like who scored the most. But I want to know actually who are the teams that have scored the least in Super Bowl history.
This is just in a single game, or this?
In a single, yes, sir.
Game.
Anthony's like, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. I need Anthony to win this one. I'm gonna guess the Rams. The Super Bowl against the Patriots was pretty low scoring.
The Rams.
I'm under pressure now.
That is the number 1 on this list. Super Bowl 19, 3 points. I'm sorry, I apologize. Super Bowl 19, yeah, it was Super Bowl 53. I got 2019 in my head. 13-3. What a boring Super Bowl that was. Now I'm sitting there thinking about it. All right, you got the rest, man. This is it. It's all on you, Anthony. Let's see if the Fortnite strategy is working.
Let's see if teams that have lost a lot. So let's go with the Broncos. Have been in there a bunch of times.
Denver Broncos.
Brutal. Let's see. More boring Super Bowls. It's probably like super old from back in the day, like before I was born. Super Bowls. Let's go with the Bills. They lost 4, so maybe one of them was low scoring.
Circling the wagons, not in this round. All right, bro. 2 strikes, and you got a lot of meat left. So you got the number 1 on the list.
Let's go with the then Washington Redskins.
Washington Redskins. Yes, indeed. They scored in Super Bowl 7 points.
All right. Let's see. Who else?
They're number 5 on this list, by the way.
Let's go with I'm gonna pick one of those old teams from back in the day. Let's go with Kansas City when they won like forever ago.
Kansas City. Ooh, that's tough. You got a lot of meat left here, my brother. He's got Rams at number 1 and the Redskins at 5. There are 6 total teams on the list.
Okay. I'm going to go with the one that I really think is going to be right. And New York Giants against the Baltimore Ravens. The only score, I think, was a kick return touchdown.
The New York Giants. Great job, my brother. It was the New York Giants. You are correct. 7 points. That was Super Bowl 35. I have them on the list at number 4. America's team, the Miami Dolphins, they are on this list at number 2. That was Super Bowl 6. They scored 3 points. Great job. The Vikings are on this list twice, believe it or not. 6 points, and I can't read my writing. It looks like Super Bowl 39 and 7 points in Super Bowl 34. So they're really doing well, Minnesota, in the Super Bowl. And the last on this list, we got the Colts. That was in Super Bowl 3.
I almost said the Colts.
The guarantee game.
Exactly. You nailed it. Well, you're the winner today, and I'm going to give you as the winner, you get the bonus round question. I want to see now. I'm going to give Jeff a chance to answer this too, if he can. But here it is. See if you can snag it. In a bonus question, which college has produced the most Super Bowl quarterbacks?
I know the answer to this. It's
I know the answer to the question. Wait, let's
Golden Bears.
I'll try to let the winner get it.
got his chance.
I thought we were just shouting it out. My bad.
Yeah, it's all good.
I was just going to say
That's correct. It is.
Who are the quarterbacks?
Yeah, I'll name
Is that
them all for
Montana
you.
School?
Aaron
That
Rodgers.
was Notre Dame.
You got Jared Goff, Joe Cap, Craig Morton, Vince Ferragamo, and Aaron Rodgers. There you go. Now you know. Listen, if they put that on the AFLAF trivia question, you guys are going to be A-OK, nailing it at the party indeed.
I was thinking about wins. I was thinking Brady or Montana's college. I wasn't actually thinking about the amount of quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, indeed. Listen, you're the winner today. You got nothing to sweat. And with that, congratulations, bro. And also a patented thing on my show, Jeff. I hate to do it to you, bro. We do it to everybody on the show. The dumbass of the week.
Dumbass. Thank these. They call me dumbass. Play kind stupid. I act a dumb.
Nice. I do want to point something funny out. Every time, for some reason, I put your face in the cartoon thing, your body came out African American. I couldn't figure it out. Look at this. So, listen, at the end of the day, Jeff, take away from this show, you got some soul inside of you, my brother. Indeed. All right, Anthony, you're the winner. It's our plug time, so you get to go first. Tell everyone where they can find all your great stuff.
Number one, you can follow me on Twitter at The Real NFL Guru. You can follow my content at the FF Faceoff, fffaceoff.com. And I also do some content over at the Game Day NFL that is more geared towards betting and fantasy as well. I'm all over the place. I try to get into whatever I can, like this.
Anthony's all over the place and he's sniping you like Fortnite. I mean, listen, this guy is money where it matters. Great job tonight, Anthony. We appreciate having you.
Thank you.
Jeff, even though you're the dumbass of the week, you do get plug time as well. Let everyone know where they can find all your great stuff.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Jeff Lambert77. It's Jeff spelled Geoff, so G off for those out there that don't know how to say it correctly. Find all our content at goingfor2.com and our podcast networks on It's Going for Two Live on YouTube. I just want to plug real quick too. We do league podcasts. So if you want to, I think right now it's $78. You pay for your league. We do a whole breakdown of your entire league, team by team breakdown. An hour-long show. So if you want to do that, go to goingfor2.com/league pod. It's a pretty awesome thing that we love to do.
Yeah, that's great. Actually, I've been thinking about doing something like that as well. That's a really great idea, and breaking down drafts and stuff too. Like, what a great avenue. That's great. All right, so we appreciate having you guys on. I hope you guys had a great time. We do this stuff all the time, so I hope you enjoyed it because I'll bring you on again. I love doing this kind of stuff. We do a dating game, we do Jeopardy, we do all kind of good stuff. So yeah, come on in.
I want to come back for those.
Yeah, we're definitely going to invite you.
I need to redeem myself.
I think that's what we'll do is we'll have you both come face off against each other. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we got more of our big game belly up bonanza.
At championshipfootballs.com, you'll get a 100% money-back guarantee on every souvenir football they sell, as well as free shipping. It's the coolest present they'll open that day, guaranteed. There's nothing worse than trying to find the right gift for somebody that already has everything. Whether that special gift is for a fan of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Alabama Crimson Tide. Maybe Gramps is a lifelong Dallas Cowboys supporter. Or don't forget that brother-in-law rooting on those LSU Tigers down in the Bayou. What about a Baylor Alumni Association member? What about the dad who's a Kansas City Chiefs fan? Send them the coolest present they'll open that day, guaranteed. Now, if you happen to be a Buffalo Bills or a Minnesota Vikings fan, or if you're a New Mexico State Aggies fan, or rode the green wave of Tulane as an alumni, unfortunately, there's not much we can do. After all, the name isn't nice effort, you had a pretty good season footballs.com. With a 100% money-back guarantee and free shipping, don't forget the name, championshipfootballs.com. The coolest presents they'll open that day, guaranteed.
Well. Excellent job there, Jason, on the Family Fantasy Feud game.
I just want to
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to note that due to the magic of television, I was actually able to teleport, grow a beard, and change all at the same time while we were on commercial break.
That was totally just happened 2 seconds ago. Guys, you're watching the Belly Up Sports' Big Game Bonanza on BellyUp.tv. You can find it on any device that you have, or if you have a Roku device, download the Belly Up Sports channel. You can catch all of our 24/7 content, 365. We got great content from all of these guys and more, plus live sports on the way. Can't wait for all of that. But we continue on with our Big Game Bonanza, our Super Bowl coverage. We are now in the DFS segment. Andrew's tagging along. We have Kelcey and Jason, main hosts over here, myself, Dan, and now we have Andy. We have Andrew and Andy. Andy's joining the show from Sane Podcast Show, which I love, by the way.
Boys, how are we? How are we on this blessed, most blessed of days?
We are excellent, sir.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Who needs a halftime show, by the way, when Coop can pull just a wardrobe just like that, and like that's
there was
like,
no
who needs halftime shows.
No wardrobe malfunctions whatsoever. But before we dive into this real quick, on my show, the MD's Fantasy Football Show, we have a DFS contest every single week. And as you guys saw, the sponsor Championship Footballs before we came back on, that is who gives our giveaways. You'll win one championship football from championshipfootballs.com for free. All you got to do is join. It's free. It's on our social media feeds at BellyUpMDFF Show. There's still time because it goes right up until kickoff. So there's still time. It's a DraftKings showdown, which is what we're going to get into today. Now, are you guys ready? Who's changing things on me? Look at TSS. He's like, I'm just going to take over this screen here.
Sorry. My bad. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it was going to do all that. My bad.
It's your 5 seconds of fame there, huh?
Right. No, I actually was going to. I had a graphic for my DFS. I was like, ooh, I have a DFS, but my bad. I didn't realize it was going to mess it up.
Just trying to hijack the entire show, whatever. But yeah,
live production TV, guys.
Jason, he's got the TSS Fantasy. I have the MD's Fantasy Football Show, but I want to get Andrew and Andy going first. So let's start with Andrew. What is your lineup?
So my lineup is actually based off of. So the way I start with showdown lineups, especially, is I predict the game flow and pick the players according to that game flow, because that's what you got to do, especially when on a one game slate like this. You got to be different somehow. So my lineup, I'd say that my most popular lineup consists of a Van Jefferson captain. I like him to maybe get a big play and be different enough with people flocking to OBJ and Cooper Kupp in that offense. And then you got to play some value plays to make it all work if you want to get Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford in your lineup, where you got to go to someone like Kendall Blanton, Tyler Boyd, and Samaje Perine. Those are probably my most owned guys across all of my lineups, I'd say.
Okay, well, so you're going with a bunch of contrarian plays. That's basically what it's boiling down to.
That's when it's a one game where everybody in the world is going to be people who don't even play DFS are going to be playing this week. What I'm banking on, because there's a ton of promos out there on DK, FanDuel, Yahoo, whatever your choice is. I need to find a way to be different among those crowds. I'm not gonna. First of all, I try to make some lineups with Cooper Kupp or captain, just too damn expensive. I mean, you can make it work, but you're going to be playing someone who's probably going to get you 0, 1 points, whatever.
And the lay this out here real quick for people who might be watching this and never played DFS before.
Yeah.
The whole thing with the showdown, it works a little bit differently than your normal fantasy football lineup would. You only get to get 6 players total, one coming in the captain position. That captain position is 1.5 points as far as their scoring bonus goes, but you also have to pay 1.5 times their salary. So Cooper Kupp comes in, let's say DraftKings, for instance, because we base this off of for the most part, at 11,600. Now he has to jump up to about 17 something, I think it is. So go to Andrew's point, it's hard to put a lineup around that.
Exactly. And yeah, you still, like I said, you 6 guys, but they're all overpriced to match that balance of 6 guys compared to a normal lineup. So you have to, if you want to get your biggest kind of boom potential in that captain spot, you got to find someone who is ranked, a price, I should say, like around that 2,000 or less, kind of in that area that might get you, just 6 or 7 points, where according to DK, that's above their average. That's more than the value that you expect them at that price. You got to do that to fit these guys in. So I think Cooper Kupp is going to be a very popular captain play. And I think people are going to take some chances on some guys who aren't going to get you any points. So instead of doing that, I'd rather pay down a little bit at captain and play someone like a Samaje Perine, who, for my game flow, I think the Bengals are going to have to throw quick, throw to the flats, throw to the tight ends, and really get someone like Samaje Perine involved in the passing game.
So I got a quick question for you on the Samaje Perine real quick, because with him, he did have this pattern in the second half of the season where if the Bengals were in a negative game script or they're in 2-minute drill, it was Samaje Perine show. But that has not been the case through these playoffs. He has not come in
when they were down 21-10.
He only had the one drive. Because if you look at Joe Mixon walks away with 7 targets or 10 targets, 7 receptions in that game. He only had the one drive. That was it. He wasn't in that situation every single time. So in the playoffs, it's changed now to where they're trying to have Joe Mixon involved, because the big thing about Mixon is that he hasn't been getting carries. They have turned this offense over to Joe Burrow, and by necessity in some cases, because they've been having to come back from behind in most of these games. But as a result, Mixon's not coming off the field. So that's why I'm curious. Do you think they're going to go back to what they've done 5 weeks ago, not within the past 5 weeks that got him to the Super Bowl, in order to make Samaje Perine? Because he hasn't done very much.
So this is why what I'm talking about here is, so Samaje Perine at $2,400 on DraftKings, he doesn't have to do much for you to hit that value to where you're going to be able to, your other 5 guys are going to, if you pick them right, are going to also hit your value, and you should find yourself in the green in the cashing zone. But Samaje Perine, as we saw in the conference championship, also has that ability to where if he just catches one and breaks it for a touchdown, now you're talking about you're covering other people's values up. If one of your big guys misses or comes in just slightly under value, now you're talking about hitting that 50% plus. You're higher in that prize zone. So for me, compared to some other guys who are lower priced down there, Samaje Perine is the perfect boom or bust value play that I'm willing to take a risk on.
Yeah, I want to piggyback off that just real quick. I do agree. I think he's a great value play, as you mentioned, can pop one big or just be a goal line carry. To your point, Dan, though, they are using Joe Mixon a lot more, but, hey, it's like, we're in the NBA playoffs. You're going to start your best guys, bring your best guys, let them play on the field. So that's what they're going to do. But again, Joe Mixon's not going to be able to last the whole game. So Samaje Perine could be that guy that sneaks in, as you said, and makes up the value for you.
Especially against that defensive line. Mixon's probably going to take a beating tonight.
Well, I'll even add in, when's the last time we had a Super Bowl where a guy didn't just come out of nowhere to be a top performer? Great point. I mean, I look at Trey Burton just a few years ago.
Great point, Kelcey. Great point.
So, Samaje Perine set up for that Cinderella story, considering he was the guy that gave up that interception. He didn't really try too hard on that interception a couple weeks back. So maybe a guy set up for something important there.
And we've seen when these teams get 2 weeks to prepare for a Super Bowl and they get a really good idea what their opponent's going to do. Sometimes they over prepare and they bring out some more creative stuff and they get some stuff lined up for some guys who aren't typically in the offense because they have more time to play it out. So, like I said, one game where everybody in the country or the world is going to be playing these contests, I got to just find something that I can take a chance on. And I got to fade guys that I just have to take a stand on because they're going to be overowned.
All right, so Andrew's lineup is either going to be scoring 0 or he's going to get $1 million, one or the other.
just like my halftime shows.
All right, beers on Andrew, or we're all going to the cheapest part we can.
But that's what the different strategy is going to come into play. So now I want to hear what Andy has.
Yeah, gentlemen. So I went a different route on this one. For all of you DFS players out there who might be new to this, Prize Picks is a great way to get into DFS betting. Okay, so I built a lineup based on over and under projections for today's Super Bowl. So my lineup, I have Joe Burrow projected 275.5. I took the over. I think although Burrow is probably going to get sacked 147 million times, he's going to be slinging the rock today, fellas. So we're going to put hard on Joe Burrow over 275.5. Next one, this is a play that I think is going to cash in for a lot of people. Sony Michel at 15.5 rushing yards. Hammer the over on this one. Hammer the over on Sony Michel at 15.5. I predict Stafford to throw a couple key interceptions, but I think early in the game they're going to be hammering the football. Sony Michel at 15.5. I think that's a gimme play. Van Jefferson. Andrew, I love the Van Jefferson play in your lineup. I have Van Jefferson in my lineup as well. He's at 28.5 receiving yards. Over. Give me the over. I think they're going to shadow OBJ a little bit. Cup's going to get his. We're not even going to touch that. That
Shadow
just is
him
what
with
it
who?
is.
Hold on. Shadow OBJ with who? Who is
The coach, a corner, someone from the crowd,
who plays
the cameraman,
covering OBJ.
This guy is going to just take him out a couple times.
Right? Like he's going to get conked in the side of the head running a dig or something like that. But, I think Cup's going to get his. I think Van Jefferson, I love the call on him getting a big play. I think he's due for, one of those 30, 40-yard pops for a TD.
I do want to put this out there real quickly. Van Jefferson is completely off the injury report. He did practice in full on Friday, just to give that update. Go ahead.
Yep. Andrew, you and I talked a little bit before. You're fading Chase. I'm taking him. I'm hammering the over on Jamar Chase receptions at 6. I'm hammering the over on that. I think he's going to get peppered with targets. It might be short, but he's going to get the ball. Joey B is going to need to get it out fast. Him and Chase have the connection. Hammer the over on the 6 receptions for Jamar Chase. And my last pick, had to go with the defense and special team stat here. The Rams at 3.5 sacks. We're taking the over, gentlemen. Burrow gets nailed. He got nailed 9 times by Tennessee, who is not the same defense as LA. You have Aaron Donald, who is just a monster. Von Miller's healthy. Leonard Floyd, the ex-Bear, is an X factor on this defensive line for the LA Rams. Watch for Leonard Floyd to get 1, maybe 2 sacks in the Super Bowl. So just to recap, we have Joe Burrow over 275.5. Sony Michel, I would hammer all of your house money on the 15.5 rushing yards on this one over. Van Jefferson over 28.5. Jamar Chase over 6 receptions. Sorry, Andrew. We'll see who wins on that one. And then the Rams defense over 3.5 sacks. That's my DFS prize picks locks for today.
So I want to be clear on fading Jamar Chase. It's not that I don't think he can get 6 receptions, 100 yards. Like that's not.
I know you're just not taking him because there's too much money on him.
Like crazy right now.
No. This is where like I said, everybody's playing these contests. Say, with DFS standpoint, you got to take a stand where you're choosing to be different. You're not going to be able to afford both Cooper Kupp and Jamar Chase.
Correct.
I think with the way the game flow is going to go, I think the Bengals are going to have to play the slot with Tyler Boyd more, the short passes out of the backfield to Pirine or Mixon.
Yep.
I just think that's going to be more the game flow than hitting Chase's strong point, which is, down the side, up the seat. Like, I don't think he's going to be as involved. So he could still easily get 6 for 100. But if I'm squeezing in Kupp and Chase in my lineup, I'm not going to be able to afford guys who are going to get me, 10 plus points down my whole lineup.
And I think it's going to be something like Chase gets 8 catches for 50-something yards, maybe a touchdown. Like, he's not going to go huge. My X factor on Cincinnati, if I was actually going to put a different guy in my lineup, would be T. Higgins. I would put a lot of money on T. Higgins getting some yards today, especially with Uzama coming off a knee injury, not necessarily being 100%. Between Boyd and Higgins, someone there is going to pop open for Joey B to throw the ball a long way.
I'm glad you pointed out T. Higgins, but I also want to go to Tyler Boyd. So there's something that the Bengals do interestingly with their formation with C.J. Uzoma not on the field when they run their 5 wide. C.J. Uzoma is always open on that inside slot. But when he's not on the field, you know who replaces him? Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd, and talk about a boomer bust, and neither of you have even mentioned him.
Oh, no, I mentioned him.
He finished 14 receptions shy of Jamar Chase team leading receptions.
Yeah,
he's one of my captains.
Shy of T. Higgins. And Tyler Boyd, man, this dude needs to be a boom for you guys.
Kelcey wanted to throw that point in there, guys.
Yeah,
come on.
That's a good point, though. It's going to be one of the two, Higgins or Boyd. Someone's going to be a boomer today. They're going to pepper Chase, I think, with targets, but I think one of those guys pops off for, over 20 yards of reception and maybe 2 touchdowns, 1 to 2 touchdowns today.
Okay. So we have Andrew, who's got either the ultimate boomer or bust lineup. We have Andy, who's 2 segments ahead, giving us prop bets.
It's a DFS. It's a DFS site. It's still a DFS site.
No, it's still winning money, and it's still player statistics, which is what we're all about here.
Yep.
I have a lineup too. It's actually DFS, and it's not so boomer bust like Andrew's. Dan. So I got a little mixture of both. We got a little mixture of both here. So you guys can judge me now and make fun of me. That's fine. In my captain spot, I have OBJ. This man broke free from Cleveland, found himself in half a season at home in an offense. That's hard to do in the NFL. It's hard to do in one season, yet half a season. He's been on a tear in the playoffs. Cooper Kupp's going to get his. But the X factor has been OBJ, in particular in the red zone. This is why Van Jefferson's continued to be left out of this offense, because he's been so good. And to go to Andrew's point before about not wanting to put Cooper Kupp in your captain spot because of how much you have to pay, you only have to pay $12,600, let's say it that way, on DraftKings for OBJ to be in your captain spot. So that allows you to do other things. Now, I'm a little bit afraid to give the rest of my DFS lineup because it's probably going to give away what my Super Bowl prediction is going to be later on in the show, but I continued on with the Rams. I went with the Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford combination. Here's what the Cincinnati Bengals do, and this is what's going to be their downfall if they do it again tonight. They play entirely too much cover 2 zone on the back end. That is not what you can do against a Sean McVay offense, who all they do, they just sit there and they run these crossing patterns from 10 to 12 yards, and they get right in behind that linebacker, right in front of that safety, and it's open all day long when you run a cover 3, cover 2 scheme like the Cincinnati Bengals do. These guys are all going to eat. Matthew Stafford's going to eat. Guess what the Bengals are good at? They're good at the middle of the defensive front. They're good up the middle. But guess what? The Rams' offensive line is healthy. Stafford's going to have all day to throw today, guys. You give Stafford all day to throw with that zone of a scheme, that's the problem. That's where this is going to be a whole different scenario for what the Bengals have faced up until this point. I think it was Andy. Maybe it was Andy because he talked about the Rams defense. Titans had 9 sacks. The problem was the Titans couldn't attack them offensively. You're going to have a similar day defensively with an offense that can actually move the ball on you. And that's where it's going to be a problem. So I am going with the trifecta in the passing game for the Rams. I do back that up with T. Higgins, though, go on the other side. Don't give me Jamar Chase against Jalen Ramsey in a one-on-one situation. And the Rook, who hasn't faced an elite corner all season long. Yes, Andy, that includes your Bears corner over there. All season long. Ramsey, who maybe he's not quite the speedster Jamar Chase is, he gets into your body at the line. What does Chase do? His technique is literally letting corners hit him at the line. You can't do that against Jalen Ramsey. He's never going to let go of you within that 5 yards. T. Higgins is going to have to be the guy on the backside, which is a vulnerability in that Rams secondary that you pound over and over and over again. I see him getting about 8 receptions, over 100 yards, probably a touchdown in this game on the backside of this defense, and he's only $7,600. So now we got to get into nitty-gritty because I paid up for a lot of players, right? So now we got to find value. Give me the leg. Give me Evan McPherson.
Love it.
Bengals, they march down the field, but they don't score in the red zone. They're in the bottom 20 when it comes to actually scoring touchdowns, and that's where McPherson racks them up. Who has more 50-yard field goals in the season in the league this year? Evan McPherson. Nobody has more than he does. He's been accurate. Give me those points out of a kicker at $4,000, and then I tack on with the Rams defense. Aaron Donald is my sleeper bet for the MVP. I just think they're going to be able to put pressure on Burrow all day long. It's going to be a nightmare between him and Von Miller. Don't forget Von Miller has been coming into his own over the past few weeks, and that's been the key difference. You saw it 2 weeks ago against San Fran, and this is where I think they got the monkey off their back because this defense has been pushed around by physical teams. They came to play. They came to play that game. They dominated the line of scrimmage in the second half. You mix that in with the pass rush against this offensive line, it's going to be a nightmare problem. I see turnovers. I see sacks. That's my lineup. I'll recap it again. OBJ in the captain spot, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, T. Higgins, Evan McPherson, and the Rams defense.
I got a value pick to add to that, Dan. I love the McPherson pick. Kendall Blanton.
Yes.
Kendall Blanton, the tight end for the Rams, is at 6,900 on DraftKings and 8,000, I think, on FanDuel when I saw this morning.
Correct.
5 for 5 targets, bringing in almost 60 yards after Higbee went down. I would hammer Kendall Blanton if you can get a value pick there. I think it would be honestly one of my dark horses to go over 100, have a couple touchdowns for the Rams.
Love it. What do you think, Jason?
I like the McPherson. That's that little sneaky, like I'm looking at, like if we were playing in DFS together, I'd be like, you little sneaky devil, you. Like that's a great one to throw in there. I like that. I like the list overall, except I just don't agree with your assessment on Jamar Chase. I think he's still going to eat today. I think we'll get back to that later, but I think Jamar Chase, he's going to get his as well. But yeah, great lineup overall. And like I said, McPherson, sneaky nice, Dan. I like that one.
Thank you, sir. Kelcey, what about you?
I like the combo. I especially like the T. Higgins backup plan to your trifecta of Rams there. I mean, I think he's going to be the one that's the most effective here for the Bengals because he is so so ungodly to try to cover a guy that's 6'5", who can reach 7 feet out in front of him and snatch anything that comes near him. So, and there's not going to be a single person that can guard him. I'm sorry, there's not a second corner on the Rams good enough to cover him, and it's a big enough body to cover him. So I do like that idea with T. Higgins being your backup plan. He might even be your best overall receiver, not named Odell Beckham.
Yeah, that's a possibility as well. So, guys, we're continuing on with the Belly Up Sports' Big Game Bonanza. We have another segment coming up with storylines from both of these teams. So we'll bring Zach and DJ back on. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come
back. Hey, Dan, before we go, I'm so sorry. I got to do this because I think Drew might be out. Drew, before you go, I got something for you, sir. I just had to bring this up before you head out.
I know what's going to be.
Scored the first touchdown in Super Bowl history?
Good God. I don't know.
Exactly. You as Packers receiver Max McGee was at the end of his 12-year career. He caught a one-handed touchdown from Bart Starr. By the way, it's the first play on the intro to our show today.
Sounds like a made-up name. I don't believe you.
All right, guys, we'll be back right after this.
As summer begins to heat up, there's only going to be one way to cool down this season. I know when I hit the golf course, Yeti products keep my drinks cold until I tee it up at the 19th hole. I'm Andrew LeDuc from the Divots and Pivot Show on Belly Up TV. As we get back to normal and get back to the beach, the park, backyard barbecues, and the golf courses, you are going to want to be able to keep your drinks cool. Why not use the best products available for the job? By going to bellyupsports.com and hitting the sponsors tab, you will have access to the best deals that Yeti has to offer. Yeti offers free shipping on orders $20 or more and qualifying orders that can arrive in 2 to 10 business days. They have the best coolers, the best tumblers, and everything else you could possibly need to enjoy life in the summer. So go to bellyupsports.com to get our link to access the best deals available today. And remember, free shipping on qualifying orders. I'm Andrew LeDuc.
And we are back on the Belly Up Sports' Big Game Bonanza live on Belly Up TV at bellyup.tv, powered by Tiki Live. Also available to you on Roku when you download the Belly Up Sports channel. We'll be simulcasting on the Belly Up Sports YouTube all throughout the day. Comment in. We'll be interactive with you as we go along here. I'm your host, Dan, with Jason, with Kelcey. We've been here all afternoon so far. We still got another hour and a half of coverage to go for your Super Bowl Sunday. I'd like to welcome back in DJ and Zach to talk about our storylines of the day. DJ, Zach, what do you think so far, guys? We good? You're back?
Glad to be back. Excited. Can't wait. There's a whole lot going into this game. Plenty to talk about, and we're just a little over the halfway mark. So we might have just hit our halftime show and no titties popped out. So I think we're on kind of a downward trajectory.
I'm saving that for the
my bad, guys. I'm sorry.
DJ.
I forgot my wardrobe malfunction.
Who
I
was
retract my
supposed to bring
statement.
that?
Keep your wardrobe functioning. I retract that. We're good.
I thought someone signed up for the titty. I don't know what happened.
I think they backed out at the last second. I think they got afraid.
We actually had a whipping boy for that one.
I want to say it was Jared, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's why he dished us all. Oh, Jared from the corner booth, who's on from 6:30 to 8 every Thursday night. All right, guys. So let's dive into this thing. I have it on the list here. I have Zach going first for the NFC. Zach, are you queued up and ready to go for your storyline, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I can give you the details on what you're going to be watching out for the game for sure. Some pieces that you're going to want to keep an eye on. Storylines for sure. Of course, we got to do the all-in theme. I know we already did that at the beginning, but I'll rehash it. You know, it's the pressure's on, in my opinion, with LA. If we're talking matchups here, really it's for the Rams. Can you sustain pressure? Can you get sacks? But not just the sacks. Can you get timely sacks? Here's the thing. Joe Burrow is the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. But that doesn't really mean anything when you can get explosive plays to counter any of those sacks, as we saw with Tennessee's loss in the divisional as we saw Tennessee's loss in divisional round. I was about to say wild card, that was wrong. 9 sacks didn't cut it. You still have to be able to, of course, produce on the opposite side, and you have to be able to get them timely. I think that's something you're going to be watching out for. Quite frankly, the Rams have the tools necessary to slow down Joe Burrow and to keep him on his toes all day. But the question is, do they limit how many times he can find in between the times that pocket breaks down to not allow for a Jamar Chase or a T. Higgins to get loose? Speaking of that passing attack, I heard you guys were talking about Jamar Chase when I was coming on. Yeah, Jalen Ramsey's out there. But, of course, with the Rams, who else is going to be keeping up with Tyler Boyd, with, of course, T. Higgins, who gets plenty of good rep from those that are following the Bengals, and even Azuma at the tight end position. They have a fully stacked, of course, receiving corp that, I know is repping, of course, how stacked the Rams are, but, you could argue the Bengals have the better of the two. I think that's a great debate. That's something you're going to be watching out for. Ramsey can't be everywhere. Now, they do have, of course, a deep secondary, I would say. Taylor Rapp is going to be playing this game, so that helps with the safety position. Eric Weddle, of course, is there too. Darius Williams is going to be tested for this one. So you will have to see who those 2 and 3 options, can they get open? When Burrow is not being pressured, can they get open? As for the Rams, look, to me on that side of the ball, they have enough talent that will outpace at least Von Bell and, of course, Eli Apple. Can you avoid the pressure as well? The Bengals are no slouch at delivering. Trey Hendrickson has been stout this year, and really the Bengals have been opportunistic. Can you avoid any costly turnovers, and can you stay on the course? The Rams have had hiccups this year against their matchup against Tampa Bay in the divisional. Remember, they almost gave away that game. 4 fumbles during that. You have to play a smart ball game here. You are in front of your home fans. Of course, you should be in theory, but that is something to keep in mind. Play a smart game. And timely pressure, I think those are storylines for the Rams. You have to look for those pieces going in.
Excellent. All those good breakdowns. What do you got to say here? We'll kick this to Kelcey.
Forgot my mute was on. My bad. So no, look, I like what he has to say. Obviously, I totally agree on the corner situation for the Rams. Like, what do you do to stick with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd on the backside? I mean, you also have to consider C.J. Uzomah, because are they going to have basically Reeder, their linebacker, cover him the whole time and then just expect to run 4 down linemen or 2 down linemen and 2 outside linebackers at the Bengals the whole time? Look, you got to get sacks. You got to get pressured. Reeder's a big part of that, and that's him usually checking, because you also have to check Joe Burrow's speed at times too. So that's something that the Rams defense is going to have to worry. I really do look at this as a Rams defense versus Joe Burrow. As much as I'd love to say I'm concerned about the Rams offense is going to be fine. Matt Stafford's going to do what he does. He's a gunslinger. But that defense I worry about, because we've seen them at times, even with Von Miller, go completely blank on the season. So it's going to be, to me, I look at that defense, like Zach said, and that's a big matchup for me, especially that corner matchup, though, for sure.
I think you'll be really analyzing in terms of pressure. Again, I think, 9 sacks, obviously, against Tennessee didn't work out. So, again, it's about timeliness in the certain scenarios here, because Burrow is going to get pressure. That line is going to collapse, I'll be frank. But you want to watch, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, and Aaron Donald. They have to be essentially in his face all the time. I'm talking, Super Bowl 55, but Patrick Mahomes running for his life in his face all the time to mitigate any chances. Because trust me, that receiving core will find a hole. Jalen Ramsey and those in company, they will lose track of one of these guys. There's enough talent there to where if you do not get pressure one play, they'll break it open. You have to be on them 24/7. Play a clean game. I would say 95% of the time, maybe 99. Can't play 100% because, trust me, sometimes you slip up. But that's going to be something that will burn you even with the pressure coming.
Hey, let's not forget Jalen gave up that big long touchdown at the end of the game against the Bucs to potentially let the Bucs back in that one. So that is something to consider.
Well, he is given this has been my issue with where Jalen's been playing, because in that game he didn't shadow or play the outside. They keep playing the stupid star position, and I'm sick of hearing about it with Raheem Morris, because it doesn't help anything. It's like, he gets to be a playmaker. He can blitz on some things. He can cover up the middle. You are literally leaving him in no man's land where he winds up doing absolutely nothing. Take away half the field. How complicated is it? And I mean, look, as a 49ers fan, I wasn't complaining most of the year when they were doing it. But now that I have money on the Rams, I am. So I need to lock down Jamar Chase.
Money changes everything.
Exactly. Take away half the field. Do what they did with Darrelle Revis. Will he get burned once in a while? Sure. But what have the Bengals done offensively when they haven't hit that big play to Jamar Chase? Look at this postseason. Came back on Kansas City because they hit the big play to Jamar Chase. Beat Tennessee because they hit the big play to Jamar Chase. They don't sustain drives through the red zone. You talk about the Evan McPherson pick, why I picked it up. Once they get down there, if they don't hit the big play to score, a lot of times they wind up getting stopped.
Here's a question, though. This goes back to the old, if you have a field goal kicker that can guarantee you score, whether it be a touchdown or field goal, 70% of the time, do you take that over not having that guarantee? because that's what Evan McPherson provides. He provides a blanket that they score on 70% of their drives.
Oh yeah, they're going to put up points on the board, no doubt about it. But if you want to win this Super Bowl, because again, we keep going back to the Tennessee game. They only won that game because Tennessee could not score. They're not going to have that same luxury against the Rams this week.
Yeah, but I think I think Zach brought up a good point too about CJ Uzomah and his availability today. I think that he might be the X factor in that offense today, where it's like, okay,
he's really going to play. He's on an MCL
he's
sprain.
playing. He's playing.
He did it in college too.
He's
Same
confirmed to play. They
injury,
said he's going to play.
Play as in what, 5-10 snaps? We're talking about a guy.
I mean, if you're in the Super Bowl,
5 steps, turn around. 5 steps, turn around. That's all you need to do with Aaron Donald coming in. Run 5 steps and turn around.
T.O. did the same thing with his ankle. And
T.O. was out for 3 weeks. He made it back for the Super Bowl. He missed most of the playoffs leading up into that point. My point is this: the type of MCL injury that CJ Uzomah sustained would typically knock him out 6 weeks in the regular season. Yeah. You're going to tell me in 2 weeks he's going to play the majority of this game? There's no way he's getting more than 50% of the snaps.
So as the only one here as a licensed therapist, I'm going to just simply say that an MCL sprain, so call it what you want to, if he's able to control the swelling and stabilize it, he'll be fine. As you just mentioned, out a little 5-yard turnaround in the red zone is all they really need out of him. I think that's the X factor for them in the red zone. That's why I'm bringing him up. He doesn't have to run downfield constantly. Just be that big guy in the red zone for them. I think that's what plays out for him.
Jason, I'm going to put a bet with you right now that Drew Sample plays more than CJ Uzomah does in this game. I'm just going to put that out there right away.
But is he more effective? Is he more effective is going to be the question. But I also raise you Cam Akers. Why is Cam Akers still out here after his explosion of an Achilles? How is he still playing?
I'm as amazed as
I don't understand.
That's a robot foot. That's the only explanation. Is they sawed it off at the bottom and just gave him a robot foot and it was just getting the wiring right.
Go ahead, Jason. As a physical therapist, give us that.
Yeah, I'm about to chime in because listen, I actually brought in my college professor, one of the smartest people I've ever known. When I first went to his class, I told him his brain intimidated me. I had to sit in the back. I was so scared he's going to call me out. Listen, at the end of the day, that is a modern miracle. We just couldn't believe he was even thinking about playing. I just can't believe he's out there. Can't think of the word. A lot of new things coming out in modern medicine for him to be playing out in football right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, Zach, I'm going to kick this to you. This is an interesting one because Cam Akers, he's been a big topic of discussion of what his production is going to be because Darrell Henderson gets activated this week. So now they have Michelle, Henderson, Cam Akers. Do we expect to see Sean McVay continue to ride Akers into the ground, or is he going to mix it up this game?
Well, if I were to go with how he treated it at the beginning of the season and how we've gotten to this point in the Sean McVay development of his offense, I can see a running back by committee easily today if you have all three available. I mean, and Sony Michel has been a solid addition as a trade asset for the Rams this entire year. He's been kind of a fill-in at times. I know Darrell Henderson, when he's been healthy, has had explosiveness. Actually, have liked him out of college. He just, had a little bit of a rough go going in. But I could see a committee. I think this is a scenario where McVay goes, all right, if we just to keep them honest in the run game, we have what we need in our receiving corp, and if we keep pressure off of Matthew Stafford, we should be able to do what we want with all of our various weapons in that secondary. I think a committee is the best play for it. I mean, Akers is available. That was great. I think it's a great morale boost for a team to see someone that should be out for the year come back, end of the season, be activated. But I think if you wanted to keep yourself at least somewhat prepared for next year, even though I know, again, all in for this year, you still want to have your young budding star at running back have a little bit of temperament. I know he'll want to play. He'll want to be anxious to play, but they have three guys that all can cause damage when put in.
I'll play devil's advocate real quickly. The thing about Sean McVay is that when he falls in love with a running back, he sticks with them.
That's true.
Look at earlier this season. Darrell Henderson was not 100% healthy. And yet he wanted to ride him, even though Sony Michel had been very productive. And he does the same thing here in the playoffs. Cam Akers comes back. He had 24 carries for 48 yards against Tampa Bay, and Sony Michel couldn't even see the field. That's where I question the whole thing of, I don't know. When Sean McVay seems to fall in love with the guy, he sticks with the guy.
Hey, a fun stat, Dan. The last time these two teams played in 2019, they actually split carries right down the middle with Gurley and Henderson. Henderson had 49 yards, Gurley with 44 and a TD.
I'm pretty sure that was the game that Gurley hurt himself, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I would say, wasn't that coming off the knee injury?
I believe so.
So thanks for your irrelevant comment. No,
very, very similar.
It just was relevant to what we were talking about.
my last bit on this that I find fascinating with both these teams in terms of rushing, if we're talking about defensively, how you're going to gauge. I didn't even mention Joe Mixon, how you have to gauge for that. Both teams sit respectively one position each in terms of ranking in statistics. The Rams are 6th at best against the run. The Bengals are 5th, according to the stat sheets I currently have. Whichever one I think can get also a little bit of honesty out of that spot might help too. It's going to be a passing fest as how I see it, but they do have weapons. It's just how do you attack them when both, front sevens are doing stellar jobs this year, holding down that front line.
Yeah. So that's a good segue here to kick this thing off, the DJ. So DJ, why don't you take us away on your AFC Bengals breakdown?
Well, I wanted to start with CJ Uzoma, but we already kind of threw that one out the door, so we'll skip past that one right now. I'm gonna go with the one that makes me smile the hardest. It's the fact that Eli Apple has directly went to the defensive coordinator and said, "Let me go guard Odell Beckham Jr." He is asking to guard Odell one-on-one. And if you've seen any of the practice highlights when they're both with the Giants, hammer the Rams by $1 million at this point as well, and hammer Odell for your DFS team because that is not going to go well if they do stick with that. Eli Apple's okay. He's playing kind of by necessity because of all the injuries with Trey Waynes and some of the other guys throughout the year. So if that's a matchup that he does get his way, I'm looking for Odell to absolutely cook him. So hopefully they don't follow that. And offensively, I'm looking to see what they do with T. Higgins. If they're going to put Darius Williams for the Rams on T. Higgins, I throw the ball to him every single play because Darius Williams is listed at 5'9", which means in shoes he's probably about 5'8". And T. Higgins is all of 6'5" and could probably dunk a basketball with his elbows easily without running. So I would throw it to T. Higgins every play if they leave him one-on-one with Darius Williams. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to offensively for him. Defensively, of course, how do they guard all of those receivers? If they do leave Eli Apple one-on-one with Odell, Odell's going to cook them all day long. And I'm also curious as well, looking at the experience factor. The Bengals have one player who's even played in a Super Bowl, and that is Ricardo Allen, who they signed in the offseason. The Rams have multiple players who played in a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP on defense. So I'm curious to see if that experience does play a factor in a game of this magnitude as well, especially with that elongated halftime. We've seen the Bengals, they come out at halftime. We saw it against the Chiefs. They come out guns blazing. They absolutely lit it up after halftime. But with this elongated halftime where it's going to be even longer, does that kind of affect their mojo, the momentum, or does that make them even more dangerous? Curious to see how they answer that. And the last one that's kind of a little bit for both teams as well, but especially for the Bengals. Both these quarterbacks are not afraid to throw it directly at the defense with absolutely zero regard. Matt Stafford led the league in picks, and Joe Burrow was not too far behind. It was 17 for Stafford, I believe, and 14 for Burrow. They're going to give you opportunities. You just got to find a way to catch them. Against the Chiefs, they dropped the one that hit Eli Apple in the hands, but then Jesse Bates tipped the one later on that they got in overtime. Against the Titans, they caught all three of them. Then in that NFC Championship game, Stafford threw it right up, and the 49ers weren't able to capitalize. So are you going to be able to take advantage? Is both these quarterbacks going to throw it right at your defender's hands? Can they make the catch on those ones as well, too? And I mentioned Jesse Bates. He's set to be a free agent after this game as well, too. So curious to see what that's going to look like going into the offseason. Because, especially after what he did in the AFC Championship game, if he has a good game here as well, too, he's going to have a lot of suitors in the Bengals. They're going to have to empty out the bank to probably pay and keep him around. So there's a lot I'm looking at in this AFC game, but the biggest one that sticks out to me is, will Eli Apple be able to guard Odell? Are they going to let him in the first place? If I'm the defensive coordinator, I tell Eli to go sit in the corner and don't talk. And then also, will they be able to catch the passes going to be thrown right at their defender's hands?
Okay, well, first of all, I just got to say, I'm tired of reliving the 49ers not picking off the ball where we should be in the Super Bowl ourselves. So thanks for bringing that up again. But I want to get Kelcey's reaction first to what you had to break down.
Yeah, so, okay, first of all, Eli Apple. Let's start with the anomaly that is Eli Apple. Outside of his mom getting involved on Twitter, he needs to shut up and stay out of this game. Like, his mom can talk all the smack she wants, but Eli Apple needs to not talk any smack if he wants to be successful. But I do think he has the physical talents to match up with Odell if he shuts his mouth. The biggest problem with Eli Apple is when he gets involved in the game with his mouth. And it's always been a problem. It's literally similar to what Sarkavius Ward did to Jamar Chase to get Jamar Chase to go off in their Chiefs game. Like, just don't talk smack to the one guy you don't need to talk smack to on Odell, and you'll be okay. And that's with Eli Apple. That's number one. Just like do that. Now, as far as picking the ball off, there's a reason these guys play defense. Like I hate to say it that way, but they're brick hands on top of brick hands on top of brick hands. The only guy that I trust to pick a ball off is Jesse Bates. And the fact is, first of all, he has until March 16th to get a deal signed, and I think the Bengals have already learned they need to sign him. I don't think there's a question. Top 5 safety in the game easily, and has proven that to this point. If you never watched Cincinnati play, you're seeing it now. Jesse Bates is that dude.
Well, just let me jump in there real quick too, because the beauty part about having Joe Burrow under a rookie contract 3 more years, you could pay him for the next 3 or 4 years, and those type of guys without it hurting your salary cap all that much. By the time it's time to pay Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins will be the guy up first.
Yeah, and Carson Palmer actually talked about that in an interview leading up to this week in the game about what the Bengals need to do going forward, and Joe Burrow needs to think about going forward to sign his new contract is like sign Jesse Bates, sign Logan Wilson, get these guys under contract. And I mentioned Logan Wilson, and there's a very important reason I mentioned Logan Wilson because we mentioned Kendall Blanton earlier taking for Tyler Higbee. It is going to be Logan Wilson's job to shadow him all over the field. And that is a guy that, if you want to talk about a guy who can catch a pick, Logan Wilson, Jesse Bates, those are the guys I trust to catch a pick. Everybody else, good luck. I mean, that's how bad it is. It's brick hands galore. And by the way, Jalen Ramsey, if you can't catch a pick, you're no longer the best corner in the game. That's my 2 cents on that. You can't talk all that smack and not catch a pick. Deion Sanders has proved that.
True story.
Better than Deion.
Logan Wilson also has lead the NFL in postseason tackles so far. Right now, this postseason, He has the most tackles on top of that. So rangy and covering, he could definitely be an X factor. And just kind of have an idea for you guys that you mentioned. What if the Rams decide to do something goofy and put Jalen Ramsey on T. Higgins just to match up size-wise, then double team Jamar Chase? Because Darius Williams, obviously not nearly the corner, but you have the safety over the top at all times.
Yeah,
Then
I've heard
Tyler Boyd,
this
your
part about-
MVP.
Go ahead, Jason.
I was going to say then Tyler Boyd will be your MVP if that's the case. But I just want to piggyback and just say one thing. Eli Apple, like you were just bringing up that, listen, when you're going against OBJ, you need a little bit of swag. He's going to come out with swag. You better be able to match it. You sit here and shut up and you're going to sit here and look like a little, you know what? So instead, you got to bring the smack talk back to him. Let's go and bring it. I actually disagree with that assessment.
There's a line. You could do a little bit. You could do it in the game, but I'm saying leading up to it, begging for him. That's just asking for him. I mean, unless you're going to get him to spear you like he's Josh Norman.
Is that he was teammates with Odell at one point. That is the only thing he has. Other than that, he's got nothing.
And when they were teammates, he got cooked. The practice video shows that. It shows him getting toasted.
Let's be also very clear. There's only one person that's worse when they start talking trash than Eli Apple, and he's been punched on the field multiple times. That's Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. By the way, Eli Apple learned how to talk trash from Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah, I know because
hated trash talker in the league might get punched on the field in the Super Bowl if he starts talking trash. And then
guess which team's players threw those punches. You're looking at them right here.
All I'm saying, man, you can't talk like Eli Apple when he talks trash. He gets out of his own game to talk trash. There's guys that can talk trash and play their game like Odell. There's guys who can not talk trash. Like when they start talking trash, they get out of their own game.
Why do you think OBJ is my captain spot? I'm expecting a 60-yard touchdown out of him minimum against Eli Apple. Like, give me a break here. Well, okay, so let's get into this. So we talked a lot about the Rams pass rush versus Cincinnati offensive line and how we just think that's going to be a big thing for Joe Burrow to have to overcome. So DJ, do you think he can overcome it, and how would he be able to if he's going to be under duress all game?
I think the way their offense has been running all season, he's kind of gotten used to. I mean, in the least rude way, he's been a one-read quarterback all season because he doesn't have time to go through the second read. They basically know that he has to do everything pre-snap. He's like, all right, I got one read and I got to get this ball because you're immediately getting assaulted. And we saw against the Titans, that's how it played out. You mentioned their offense wasn't able to take advantage of it. Even if the Rams are going to be able to get there, he's going to know it's coming. It's nothing new to him. Von Miller's going to have to play like Super Bowl MVP Von Miller, and Aaron Donald's going to have to play like, well, honestly, what he did against Tampa Bay, not so much what he did against the 49ers. They both have to go absolutely ballistic. Burrow's been dealing with this, unfortunately, for his entire NFL career. I think he's expecting it. I think he knows that ball has to come out quick, and that's why I think CJ Uzomah could be a key factor, is just run 5 yards and turn around and be 6'7", and then fall down once you catch the ball. Joe Mixon's going to have to catch like 7 passes. I think they can mitigate that with game plan a little bit, and they've had to do a lot of it all season. It's can they stay patient enough and not just like, screw it, Jamar out there somewhere. Oh, wait, there's 4 safeties chilling up there. My bad.
Well, yeah, exactly. And Jason, I'll kick this to you. At what point do we hold Zach Taylor accountable for the fact that he's not scheming anything to help out his quarterback whatsoever?
Well, on my show, I mean, I have a guy that just has been riding Zach Taylor from the beginning of the season to the end. I mean, he's started in the summer riding Zach Taylor. So, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, they're in the Super Bowl. How can we hold them accountable to anything? They're in the Super Bowl right now, Dan. You gotta hold him accountable for that. He's got them there. Whatever he's doing is working. It's got the mojo.
It's called Joe Burrow as my quarterback. That's what he's doing.
If that's what you got to go with, what your talent presents to you, and that's what he's got, and that's what he's bringing money to the table. I mean, today this is going to be like a back and forth, I foresee. So we'll see who's able to make the plays. But you talk a lot about Cincinnati. I said that they were going to beat the Chiefs because of their defense, and look what happened. Made a big play when it mattered. So you can say what you want, but they could make the big play when it matters in the Super Bowl and end up pulling it out.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I just look at coaches like Sean Payton, who's notorious for scheming ways to protect his quarterback from getting those extra pressures taken out of it, whether it's chipping a tight end extra on the line, doing unbalanced formations, anything at all. And they have a top 5 offensive line, and he's doing these type of things. Zach Taylor's just like, yeah, Burrow, just hike the ball and throw the ball out before you get absolutely murdered. I mean, I don't know. That's just me. But Zach, so you talked about the Rams. If you had to flip this on the other side, what do you think the Bengals have to do to win this game?
What do the Bengals have to do? Well, being honest, I think if you're looking, for example, if we're talking Joe Burrow, we're talking the offensive side, like that protection, I think you're going to be scheming the best towards keeping the interior clean, taking your risks with the outside with Von Miller or Leonard Floyd. I mean, I know that, of course, that's a tall task with Aaron Donald, but there have been teams that have been able to scheme that way to where they can mitigate the effects of Donald in the pass rush. If you're able to somehow find a way to get a run game to keep them honest, that opens a bit of things up too. On the defensive side of the ball, I mean, Eli Apple better have eaten his Wheaties today, because I'm telling you right now, that dude has been gearing up to get his ass chewed online. I am serious. Otherwise, I mean, you gotta get your best game of the year. It's as simple as that. He's been doing a utility role, filling in at least solid, but that's going to be key. I know, obviously, for the Bengals, pass rush. My words are getting mixed. I'm just saying that you need to get pressure on Stafford too. Any chance that you can keep going with your run game being solid or your run defense being solid, that'll help out. But it comes down to the secondary. It's as simple as that for the Bengals. I think it's just, how do you mitigate? If Cooper Kupp's not there, Odell's been that case in the playoffs, especially against the 49ers. That was how it was. They burned him with having him being the option that was getting most of the one-on-one coverage or getting open in zone. How do you keep him from being an impact player and dominating if Kupp is getting his numbers? You can let him get his numbers, but you can't let two guys hit the century mark and expect to win this game. That's too much of an ask. It comes down to secondary and offensive protection to me, and then play it clean on special teams when you got the chance.
Kelcey, what's better? The YOLO, don't know any better youth of the Bengals, or the experience of the Rams?
Ooh.
You know what? I have been asking this exact question all playoffs long. When we did our lead ups to this Super Bowl and the playoffs, every weekend I kept saying there's no way the Bengals are this naive and they're going to keep succeeding. There's no way. Naivety breeds ignorance, and ignorance is absolutely bliss, is all I have to say. As at this point in time, you don't know what to expect, so you don't care. You're not listening to the outsiders. You're not listening to what the pundits say. You're not listening to the talking heads. There's 5 of us here. None of them are listening to us right now. And that's the thing, is like, they don't care. And like, yeah, fair enough. But like, all these guys, look, Joe Burrow, he's a winner. He's only won since his state championship where he finished second in high school. Jamar Chase is only a winner in his one college career season. T. Higgins, only a winner at Clemson. CJ Uzoma, by the way, in his time at Auburn, went to a national championship game. This team only knows winners and winning in their career. So why not? Why not just see what they can do? Whereas on the other side, you have a bunch of first timers. You have OBJ. You have Matthew Stafford making his first time. Sure, you have Sony Michel there, but you also have your big left tackle and Andrew Whitworth first time. And let's not degrade this. Andrew Whitworth is a fantastic left tackle, but he is also a Cincinnati Bengal at heart. He loves the city of Cincinnati.
Is he?
He is.
Is he anymore?
100% is. Until he wins that title.
I'm pretty sure he's pretty happy when he made that move to LA. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah. The Bengals.
It's like the same question as if is Burrow still a Buckeye? That whole debate going on.
But here's the thing. Andrew Whitworth reached out to Joe Burrow when they're recovering from surgery. So who reaches out to their former team and their former team's
Well, no, I'm going to stop you right there because these players reach out to each other across teams all the time.
Okay, that's fair.
They're all best friends. That doesn't even really matter.
Well, who's going to reach? Like, whose first thought is like, oh, let me go reach out to the Bengals' brand new quarterback, even though they just let me go. Like, I'm not going to do. If I was a left tackle that got traded from the Bengals to the Rams or got let go and ended up on the Rams, I'm not reaching out to Joe Burrow to train with Joe Burrow. That's not happening. Sorry, I'm not going to give you my wealth of knowledge to go and make your game better. That's not happening. So I think this is a case where I think we might see naivety finally win out in this case. Like, I really do.
All right. We'll save that for the predictions.
I do want to throw one thing.
I got spice for the predictions. Don't worry.
Well, hey, I want to say real quick, because of this talk of this show, actually, I think I'm gonna put a little side bet on my MVP pick and might change it to Eli Apple. Just saying.
Oh God.
Well, this kind of ruins what I was gonna say next.
MVP most victim player. All right. On that note, we're gonna kick this to the next segment, guys. On the other side, we're gonna have this best Super Bowl foods and drinks and mix it up, have a little bit of fun there with Kelcey. Don't worry, DJ and Zach will be back for the Super Bowl predictions segment in probably an hour or so from now. So everybody stay tuned to the Belly Up Sports' Big Game Bonanza. We'll be back right after this.
Monkey Knife Fight is a daily fantasy sports game and website with a number of unique ways to win money on your favorite sports players. It's a mix of daily fantasy and prop games. Download the app or go to monkeyknifefight.com with the promo code BELLYUP for an up to $100 deposit bonus. That promo code again is BELLYUP for up to $100 deposit bonus. So download the app or go to monkeyknifefight.com.
All right, and we are back, and Jason left the screen. You, Deanie, that was nice. He's slippery. He just left his way back in. Very well done. You are watching the Belly Up Sports' A Big Game Bonanza on Belly Up TV at bellyup.tv on any device, or download us on Roku, the Belly Up Sports channel. You can catch us live and all of our VOD content, which you must catch whenever you want to watch it. Also, make sure, and I haven't been doing a good job of this, but make sure you are tuning in to Burns Radio, tikilive.com/channel Burns. You can catch all of us there, 24/7 content on your rides home while you're at work. In case you can't put us up on video, it's okay. You can catch the same content there too. I'm Dan. I'm joined here with Kelcey and Jason. Andy comes back for our best Super Bowl food segment. Let's have a little fun. Kelcey, take it away.
Oh man, Andy. First of all, we talked about this, Len, leading up. This is what you do. And I got to say, first of all, my credentials are my waistband, so I'm going to be heavily judging you on your choice of layout here for the food, man. I've already told Jason this, but Andy, this is what you do, and I'm ready to hear this one. I can't wait, man. What do you have on the dock?
Let me interject real quick because this is really funny. Andy, who's Mr. like fitness, I lift weights, I'm opening a gym, and then you have Kelcey who's like, yeah, no, I'm first guy at the buffet line. Let's go. All right, kick it away.
Well, so what's funny about that is I'm always first guy at the buffet line. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't want to be rude. I get everybody their turn first and then I gorge myself.
I let the ladies and children go first.
Exactly. Exactly. Then I don't feel bad about taking everything that's left on the table. But I got a doozy for you guys, okay? And there's no judgment that is unwarranted. So all the judgment is perfectly fine. So what I have for you is we have a do's, a don'ts, and sleeper picks for the perfect football Sunday / Super Bowl foods and drinks. Are you fellas ready?
Oh, we're ready. I'm hungry.
Okay, so let's go foods first. Now, as everybody knows, if you listen to me talk on the Sane podcast, which, Dan, I appreciate the shout out earlier, you've heard me talk about how to set up your football Sunday foods. We have 3 categories, okay? You have your appetizers, which I call your fat snacks. You have your entrees, and you have your dessert, okay? So I'm going to give you a do and a don't for all 3 categories, and then we're going to have a sleeper pick. So the do's, okay, for your appetizer, wings. You cannot go wrong with wings. Now, some people have flamed me for this because they're like, well, what do you do, traditional or boneless? And it doesn't matter, okay? If you give me a wing, you put some sauce all over it, you give me the blue cheese dressing, some carrots and celery so I don't feel like a total POS, your appetizer's golden, okay? Now, to go along with the wings, though, I'm going to add, and then I want some feedback on this appetizer section, sliders. Sliders are the underrated food of football Sunday, in my opinion. You cannot go wrong with a burger, pulled pork, chicken. Hell, you could do a deli meat slider for all I care, and you get what you get everything you need. So those are my dues for the fat snacks. Gentlemen, if you have any feedback, let's hear it.
Okay, so I gotta go back to the traditional versus boneless. And we need to settle this right here and right now.
All right.
There we go.
Boneless, is it even a wing or is it a chicken nugget?
It's a nugget. Okay. Now,
or strip it depending on the size.
Now to Kelcey, I would throw this to you. If you go traditional, are you a drumstick or a flat guy? Because the flats to me are making a case for being the number one wing.
Okay, so because of TikTok, flats have made themselves a prominent feature on my plate. However, until I knew about the little slide down, break, twist, and everything, until I knew that,
Sure.
I just literally slid down on the drumstick and called it swell and thought it was fantastic.
That's fair.
Also, am I going with a female that I'm trying to impress or anybody that I'm trying to impress? Because that's going to play a part too. Because in that case, I'm going drums. But if it's flats,
Okay.
I'm all about the mess. Like,
yeah.
Now,
I can't be trying to impress anybody at that
Now,
point.
are you?
I have a joke in my head that I want to say. So
No, we're belly up.
Yeah, throw it
That's
out.
all I see. The two bones and the tongue in between.
Yeah, actually, every time.
So, okay, but now if you're going to do traditional, you have to be the guy that eats the cartilage too. You can't leave chunk on the wing. Okay?
You can't be that guy.
Animals.
You can't be that guy. Fellas, this is an animalistic day, okay? This is a day of primal behavior. We are gross.
Eat the
we
bone marrow
burp,
too.
we fart, we grunt, we yell, and we clean our wings. Okay? This is an animalistic primal day of God's given football. Okay?
Look,
So
everybody
let's
else
move-
gets The Bachelor. They get Dancing with the Stars.
The fact that you
You
just
get
brought up the
the
Bachelor revoked your man card. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, I totally
That's
agree.
just as bad as LeDuc without the boob on his top 10 for halftime shows.
100%. Hey,
We're
listen, I
jumping
want
on the J-Lo Shakira halftime show. Like, what are you talking about?
to comment on your sliders, man. I totally agree. I mean, there's nothing better than a little sandwich and a little bit of bread, get you filled up while you're drinking all day. I actually do a brisket in a crock pot. And
Ooh.
just comes out nice and thin, and put a little cheddar cheese on there, put a little bit of the au jus on top. Your money in your mouth, boy. You got
Yeah. See, I like that. And I like the brisket take because it's not traditional. So for me, the cheese is the key. I go Havarti cheese instead of traditional
Ooh,
cheddar or American.
creamy and white. Like that.
Yeah.
Well, here's a quick question for you guys because we're talking about wings. I'm actually smoking 50 wings right now while doing this show. But what's the best way to you guys think to do wings? Is it to fry it, to smoke it?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
a good
it
one.
depends on the wings you go with. Because if you go with, bigger drums, I think smoking might be the way to go. But if you go with the little ones, then I think you throw them in. If you do oil fry, if you do air fry, if you do, whatever you may be, that's when I think you go fryer. But that's just me.
Yeah,
Look,
I think grill is dead last on the list if I'm being honest, because if we're
agree.
gonna go wing, let's just go ahead. We don't need to be healthy. Let's just go ahead, put it in the fryer. You're okay. It's okay. One day you're all right.
That's good.
DJ got an air fryer now, so I'm on an air fryer kick. Like,
I love my air fryer.
No, it's great. I love the air fryer too. It does fries well.
Yeah.
Not today though. Today's about not being healthy. Air fryer's all about being healthy.
burn down my apartment or air fry. I'm gonna air fry. I'm sorry.
Kelcey, you have to embrace your primal grossness today. You just
Trust me, it's embraced every day of the year. This day especially. That's not a question. But just burning down my apartment is more important than not burning. Like, I can't burn it down.
That's fair.
That's the only rule.
Let's swing this over to Kelcey. Kelcey, what's your foods, man?
Man, okay, so
this is just appetizers. Remember,
this
we
is
got
appetizers,
to do
this is just
entrees. Still.
appetizers. I'm all for the wings. First of all, let me just say I am all for the wings. And this one might be a little. I don't know if you can consider it an appetizer, but I consider it an appetizer because that's what I've always had it. Chips and queso has always been my go-to appetizer to go along with wings.
Sure.
And I'm not talking like pansy queso. Like, this has to have the meat in it. This has to have some spice to it. Like, cut up a jalapeno, throw it in that bad boy.
Like it's a step below a taco dip almost.
Seeds included, because that's what the spice is.
I mean, you could tell Kelcey is a single bachelor. That is this single bachelor. This is the Super Bowl, bro. You got to bring your A game. You don't bring chips and queso. Come on.
I'm sorry. When have you been to a Super Bowl party and not seen chips and queso?
I have to say, well, yeah, we don't have chips and queso. We have chips, but we have and right now you can smell the buffalo chicken dip in the crock pot. So that's what we got going on with our chips. I mean,
what I can afford.
You got to upscale a little bit, bro. It's Super Bowl.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to come back to that one, Jason, because that's a good take. I got something to come back to that one.
Well, take it away, Andy. Go ahead.
That's a good one.
So okay, we'll just go right into the sleeper for my appetizer, buffalo chicken dip. You cannot go wrong with buffalo chicken dip, and here's why. You could do the traditional tortilla. You could do a pita chip. You could do bagel chips. You can do Chex Mix. You can put it on a sandwich and eat it. The versatility of the buffalo chicken dip. I mean, essentially, you're talking about a guy like in the NBA that can play 1 through 5. This is the LeBron James of foods here. And I don't want to hear any hate on LeBron right now. But this is the LeBron of food where the versatility is unbeatable from the buffalo chicken dip. Now, what I would also say to that, and I love the point that you made, Jason, the specialty dip as a whole category is money. Whether it's buffalo chicken, spinach artichoke, French onion, Chipotle ranch, anything like that, I don't think you can go wrong there.
Yeah, just a quick add-on. It also serves when you put it in a crock pot as a man candle because all you smell throughout this home is buffalo chicken. Man,
I got one better for you guys.
Super Bowl.
And everyone makes fun of me for this until they actually try it, but I've actually made multiple times now a buffalo chicken dip lasagna, where instead of the sauces and all that, you just layer the noodles with buffalo chicken dip. It's amazing.
I might need that recipe sent over. That sounds
delicious.
I have been an unfortunate soul to have never had buffalo chicken dip at a Super Bowl party. I've had it.
What?
Never at a Super Bowl party though. So where I lived at down south, it was never at a Super Bowl party. It was at weddings, like the after food for the wedding. It was at after food for church. All that. Never at a Super Bowl party though.
What kind of people bring that to a wedding and not to a Super Bowl party?
Yeah, really.
What other people, man? Southern people. That's
Something's definitely very mixed up there.
I have so many questions and not enough time to.
I have so many questions.
No,
my life has just changed before my eyes. I'm sorry. Like I have never considered it as a Super Bowl food. It just never crossed my mind.
Kelcey, main food, go.
All right. So my sleeper 4 appetizers, real fast. I got to go with the beanie weenies because as much as everybody says they don't like them, they are always there, and everybody always freaking eats them. And it's beanie weenies.
Is that like pig in a blanket?
Weenies.
Yeah,
Bro.
I was going to ask, is that pig in a blanket? Is that what that is?
No, they're the little wieners you throw in the barbecue sauce and stick them in the slow cooker.
Okay, yeah. Cocktail weenies.
Yeah,
cocktail weenies. Yes, thank you. Yeah,
My bad. I'm just picturing the can of Chef Boyardee beanie weenie.
Why it's Chef Boyardee? You are stuck on this whole.
All right.
Bachelor
So
situation.
we're gonna go to the don'ts real quick because this is an easy one. The don'ts for your Super Bowl Sunday food. If you put out a 3-course meal, I'm never coming to your house again. If you do salad and pasta and grilled chicken breast and you're making me go up to the kitchen multiple times to get food that I want all at once so I can have a plate that's this high, I'm never coming to your house again. As I already said, this is a day of primal behavior. If there is not a smell of like Jason's house with buffalo chicken dip mixed with farts going on the entire day, I'm not having the experience that I want.
No
so
farts.
Please,
no farts.
the big don't, the only don't I have, don't make me get out of my chair when I don't have to.
Yeah.
Don't do it in courses.
Agreed.
I'll also add in pasta salad as a don't.
No, God,
Don't bring
no
pasta
potato
salad
salad, no pasta salad. Don't do
If
that.
it has the word salad in it,
Nah, it's
throw it
wrong.
away.
No.
You're wrong. You're wrong if you have salad.
Yeah. So entrees, fellas. Pizza is what I had. Taco bar. And pizza. Those are my 2 go-to for Super
like
Bowl
Taco Bar.
/ football Sunday foods because you cannot go wrong. Yes, you have to get out of your chair more times, but the abundance of grossness that can happen on this plate and be on your shirt, on your jersey throughout the entire game, it's just beautiful. And I don't think you can tell me I'm wrong there.
No.
You have changed my mind. I have a new main food to add. I have taco bars to add to this now. This is changed my life. I was going to say before that, it was going to be just the basic hot dog, hamburger, and barbecue chicken on the grill.
Sure.
But
You do know we're in the middle of winter, right?
Not trying to
Kelcey's a man of the people. He's throwing the grill on.
Barbecue.
Again, I grew up down south. Winter doesn't exist, but for 3 days of the year, there is no snow down there.
Kelcey's a true man of the people. He's going to fire up the grill no matter what.
Oh, man. That's great.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. Both you guys, great job on this segment. But Kelcey, I just got to say one thing. Yours, like Sesame Street, starts with the letter B for basic. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm sorry. Your list consisted of Thanksgiving food consisted of food that did not include any mixings of mashed potatoes. I'm sorry. No. You can't give me crap when your Thanksgiving food list during your show didn't include mashed potatoes. It didn't include the proper recipe for potatoes to include potatoes.
I'm the one who does the survey, and I don't do the answer, sir.
There you go. Let's
You got
move
the
to
wrong
drinks.
survey. You can't give me crap on that one.
So drinks, fellas.
Drinks for me.
This is where I want all of your opinions here. So I'm going to give you my do's, don'ts, and sleeper right off the bat. My do's, you cannot go wrong with beer, obviously. But it's got to be in a cooler, not in the fridge. I don't want to be going into your kitchen, going all that crap. Put it in a cooler.
You see this? You see this back here? This is my man cave. I have
that's
two
different.
fridges in the man cave.
That's different.
That's
That's different. I'm talking about if you got to go into somebody's kitchen. I've just put it in a cooler. So beer, here's a do. Shots. Have a shot per quarter. Have a shot if you're rooting for a team and they score a touchdown. Again, it's fun. It's a gross day. It's an animalistic behavior day. Get some vomit. Get all that stuff in your house. Let's go. Let's party. Bottled water or bottled soft drinks, anything that's easily accessible for people. My don'ts. Do not bring out Liquid Death. Shout out Liquid Death. Do not bring out wine on a football Sunday. I love red wine just as much as anybody does. If you bring out a bottle of wine on a day where I'm going to be swearing at my TV, I don't want it.
How about sangria?
Box wine. Now, what question? Where do you fall with box wine? Can you slap the bag on a box wine on a Super Bowl Sunday?
I think that's where you have to look at, okay, what type of people are you with? If you have the people that you could play slap the bag with, or if you've got the female companions with you at the party, I think boxed wine is okay.
Dan, if you're taking Kelcey's man card for The Bachelor, I'm taking yours
Hold on.
for
Sangria goes with taco bar.
Sure.
I'm gonna put that out there right now. That's why I brought it up.
But you could also just have tequila.
For that. Hold on. I was saying that they have their choice with that, with The Bachelorette. I don't watch The Bachelor.
The Bachelorette. It was bad when you said The Bachelor. Now you're on The Bachelorette.
No, I included them in the same thing. It's all the same umbrella.
Dancing with the Stars, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Kelcey got it all, man.
He watched
I honestly don't even watch one of these shows.
So here's the sleeper. The Truly and the White Claw. They are phenomenal. And they taste good. They get you going. You can buzz hard. And I don't think you can go wrong because let's be honest, if I'm going to drink something and if I'm going to eat all this delicious food, I want my drink to taste very good too. So we got beer and shots and bottled pop and water. Do not bring out the wine unless fair play, sangria, boxed wine for your female companions. It might be over. Truly in the White Claw sleeper picks of the day. I don't think you can go wrong there.
I like that.
Yeah, nice list. I like that.
Come on, Kelcey.
I'd add in for a little more fun, maybe Jello shots instead of just normal shots, just because you can have a little
one.
more
Yeah,
fun.
okay.
There you go.
What about maraschino cherries marinated in like vodka?
Now you're having too much fun.
No such thing. You're watching The Bachelor. Come on.
That's the part where you start getting in trouble is when you get the maraschino cherry because nobody's going to realize I've had 14 of these and I probably should stop at this point in time. Like Jello shots, you can just see the stack start growing and you're like, okay, I should probably stop now.
That's a fair point.
I have one better for you, Kelcey. One you might actually enjoy. One of my house traditions is a peanut butter and jelly shot. A little bit of peanut butter whiskey with some raspberry liqueur. My brother, there's nothing like it.
Okay, but Jason, real important. What brand of peanut butter whiskey? Because there's a couple out there that taste like kerosene.
Yeah, you know what? There's one particular one, and I'll be honest with you, I don't drink enough to remember what the hell it is. I just know what the label looks like, and that's the one I grab.
The white one with the
white one, yes.
It's Screwball.
Yes, that is the one. Yes, thank you.
It's the only one that actually tastes like peanut butter and whiskey. Everything else just tastes like gasoline, and it's only good for lighting fires. It's all
that is, you nailed it. Great,
there's the
great
point
job.
there.
Sponsor this mess.
Yeah, right. All right, what else we got? We got any more?
I think there's one more that nobody mentioned yet.
Okay.
And this goes along with the dues with the beer. I think you have to either break out the shotgun key or shout out to the family at Chug Bud. You break out a Chug Bud or a beer bong. You have to do something. If you're going to have beer and you're in a part of your life where you don't have 5-year-olds to watch like I do and you can actually have the fun, make it a game. Beer pong, beer bong, Chug Bud, shotgun. Let's face it, Monday's the most missed day of work anyway. If you're already, throwing the white towel in, give me a beer bong.
So we have Hector chiming in with where's the fajitas and barbacoa? I think that qualifies under the under the taco bar.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
You choose your own meats for that one, Hector.
Yeah, fair point.
I got one
there,
for
though.
you guys. The Boilermaker. You need the Boilermaker. A tall glass of Yingling with a shot of Jack Daniels to sweeten up the beer. Go with the Boilermaker all day long.
Ooh, I like that.
That's a good play, Dan. I would even
Sounds like a cigar too.
Yeah.
So have you guys ever heard of wagon wheels, or am I about to just bring you guys up on something?
Bring us up on something.
Bring it up.
Bring me up.
You take a liter of Gatorade, pour out a good chunk. You take a small bottle of Everclear, flip it in, freeze it overnight. You make a slushie. To drink. A Gatorade slushie. It's called Wagon Wheel. It is fantastic. Honestly, it is just like drinking Gatorade. You don't taste any of the Everclear.
Is it?
And you talk about sipping it all night. And if you're down south or somewhere where there is not winter, so like 85% of the rest of the United States is compared to the Northeast. So if you're down there with Jason, you can be sipping on this nice little frozen slushie and having a great time.
Is it called Wagon Wheel because you'll fall over and roll around for being too
probably.
drunk?
I don't know the reason behind Wagon Wheel. All I know is it was fantastic.
It sounds like the old Cisco or Mad Dog is what that sounds like.
Oh, Mad Dog 2020.
It's not terrible.
All right, guys. Before we get this thing out of here, because Andy, this is going to be the last segment he joins us for. Andy, where can we find your show at, and where can we follow you?
Yeah, you can find the show at SanePod on Twitter, at Sane_pod on Instagram, available on all platforms you get your podcast. We are on Tiki Live with the Belly Up TV channel, Burns Radio, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Come ride with us. Come ride with everybody at Belly Up Sports, not just me, but I appreciate anybody out there that does listen and follow along.
All on bellyup.tv.
Great
guys,
show.
we're going to take a quick break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to have prop bets and all the bets on the game in general. We're going to win you guys some money on the other side. So everybody stay tuned to the Belly Up Sports' Big Game Bonanza on Belly Up TV. We'll be back right after this.
Thanks, Andy.
Exciting news just came across from our friends at Manscaped. They just launched their 4th generation performance package. This ultimate package includes the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Manscaped, the leaders in male grooming, have done it again to make your grooming game next level. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with the new Performance Package 4.0 by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with the promo code BellyUpFantasy. The Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped has arrived, and oh man, it was worth the wait. Inside this package, you'll find our Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. Get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code BellyUpFantasy at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the promo code BellyUpFantasy at manscaped.com. Your balls have been through enough this past year, so treat them with the best tools for the job from Manscaped. And we are back, baby. The Belly Up Sports' Big Game Bonanza continues on. We got another 45 minutes, and we're going to get into some bets and try to win you guys some money here in the process. Of course, I'm your host, Dan, joined with Jason and Kelcey, and with me the entire afternoon on BellyUp.tv. But now we welcome in Anthony from Scoreboard Addicts, the Rook. Anthony, how you doing today?
What's going up, Dan? How you doing? I'm doing pretty well.
Man. I like the jerseys in the background there. You got the girly and the Boomer.
Hey, he's ready.
Which one do you wear?
I'm ready. I love Boomer because he does the WFAN over here in New York. So he hosts the morning show at Geo, and I've always been a fan of Boomer from there. But obviously, I had to get myself in a size and jersey, which ended up being convenient because the Bengals in the Super Bowl right now. So this is fun.
Is that the jersey you're wearing?
I got Burrow too.
Okay, nice. That's what I was curious about. All right, so this segment we've been going through our bets for the week. We got some prop bets to go over. We want to win you guys some cash. This is going to be the number 1 bet Super Bowl of history, guys, of history. Everybody's joining in. And the big thing about it is because sports books are now opening up. They're legal everywhere. Anthony, you just talked about New York. DraftKings, it's open in New York now.
Yeah, I live in New Jersey, but I have family in New York still. So
You sound like you're from New York.
Yeah, well, I'm originally from New York. I live in Jersey now, so I've had it for a couple of years now before New York. But everyone I know from New York is super excited. I think obviously with the legalization of sports gambling across the country, especially electronically, when it's just easy, you go to your phone, open an app. I mean, definitely number 1 bet going on right now in the Super Bowl. So this should break some records.
I can't wait for it. So I want to kick this to you first, and you and me are gonna go back and forth. We'll have Jason and Kelcey kind of chime in here. But give me let's start with the prop bets. Let's go in that direction first.
Yeah.
Give me some of your favorite prop bets.
So I know people typically look into like player prop bets, but we also have I like doing the stupid prop bets like national anthem, coin toss. So I did some research on the coin toss, and surprisingly to find out,
it's not
tails
50-50.
is won 53% of the time, and heads is 47% of the time. So it basically is almost 50-50. In the last few years, the last 6 Super Bowls, it's 50-50, heads and tails. But the last 2 of the last 3 were also heads. So 55 was heads, 54 was tails, 53 is heads. So and then 52 was also heads. So if you're a tails guy, maybe tails is due this time. So hopefully
talk about the ultimate 50-50 black or red on the roulette table bet.
Yes. Ultimate 50-50 chance right there. And now I see TJ just joined us as well. So
also from the Scoreboard Addicts, welcome in, TJ.
How's it going, guys?
Good. Happy to have you. Oh, and there we go. We got the full crew. Your full crew is finally here. Better late than that.
And they're all making drinks before we begin. That's what I'm talking about.
At least they're willing to share.
Absolutely. Okay, so how about the national anthem? Because there's actually been a lot of discussion about that one this particular week. Who's singing it again? I keep forgetting the name.
It's Mickey Guyton. She's a country
on the
singer.
video, she goes 1 minute 58 seconds. I think the over-under set at 155, if I'm not mistaken. So where are we feeling on that?
I don't know. I couldn't get a gauge on her because I know her music, but I don't know if she's one of those like long dramatic. Like we had Lady Gaga one year, and I was like, that's 100% over.
Yeah.
And it did go over. So I don't know. I can't really get a gauge on her. I wouldn't be surprised if there would be another. Minute 55 is pretty high. I've seen other years it's been a little bit lower, but a minute 55. I don't know. I'm gonna go over because I like the anthem to be as long as it possibly can. Like a nice dramatic anthem before the Super Bowl. So I'm going to go over.
See, I like the under there.
Yeah.
I mean, in the moment, you get a little nervous. You rush it a little bit.
Rush in the beginning, try to finish like all delayed in the end.
Yeah.
Well, what we really they used to do this in years past, and they don't do it anymore. Is that they used to have somebody on the inside who would actually be available for rehearsal, and he would kind of like leak out some of the information. They don't do that anymore, though. As far as that goes, so it's a true guess because. What was happening is that sports books, a lot of them, they weren't carrying that bet anymore because they were getting killed on it because people could actually find out from the inside exactly how long the rehearsal was taking place. You clearly can't do that anymore. So it's made it more of a 50-50 bet.
Yeah, and another thing too is they used to actually pre-record the background music.
Right.
There wouldn't be a live band, so whatever the background music was, it's set. So if you knew how long that was, you go in that bet easily every time.
You got any? What other kind of the fun prop bets do you have?
Some other fun one I have is I always like to bet, and I always do this with the wife because this is one of her favorites, is the color of the Gatorade bath.
Yes.
I think everyone loves this one. So I have the odds here. So clear or water plus 250, orange plus 300, which makes me think that people are thinking that the Bengals are going to win this one. Yellow, green.
Well, I'll stop you right there. OBJ, his best Gatorade is orange too. So a lot of people kind of bring that up of like there's a lot of orange on the Ram side as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So usually I bet it based upon which team's going to win or who I feel is going to win. So plus 400 is blue, which would be the Rams. Also yellow too could be the Rams plus 350. And then we have no Gatorade bath whatsoever is plus 600. Red and pink, these are the long shots. Red and pink are plus 1,200, and then purple is plus 1,400. So my personal favorite's blue. I won money on it a couple of years ago, so I keep riding that blue because blue usually has a pretty good payout, and it's not too much of a long shot.
Let me hear from your teammates. Let me hear for TJ.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going with orange. I think the odds being stacked, OBJ having the orange on the side. I like orange in this situation. I mean, on top of the fact that orange is my favorite Gatorade, so how could you go wrong?
I think that's what really winds up happening. People just bet their favorite Gatorade, whatever that winds up being. How about you, Nick?
Orange is your favorite Gatorade?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been buying you freaking Frost for years. You never said a word.
I usually throw it out, dude.
That is a waste of money. All right. Well, no, I was thinking orange too, just because I feel like in my head most of the time it's orange. Although I'm pretty sure at the Reese's Bowl they threw Reese's at Ron Coach Ron, but and then he got water. He got I don't know how they filled up a Gatorade thing full of Reese's cups, which I would have loved if I was Ron Middleton.
That's a long shot right there. Where's that?
And then they get to do water too. So you know what? I'll let it go if you're going to throw Reese's peanut butter cups at me. It's a W. That's a W right there. But I think orange, or I guess my number 2 would be. I want to say water. My number 2 is water. I don't know why. That's the favorite. I'm not going to call it clear.
What site are you using, Rook? Because I got on FanDuel. Water is going off at plus 520.
Oh, I was at DraftKings, so maybe.
Oh,
that's a big difference right there.
Too.
That's a huge difference.
This is from yesterday afternoon, so maybe it changed.
Now, there's an interesting stat about this Gatorade color thing, by the way. Since they started keeping track of it, only 4 times in the 22 years has the color of the Gatorade matched either of the team or the winning team's jersey color. So only 4 times.
I didn't know that one.
And purple has only been.
I was going to say, actually, I think it's going to be lemon. From what I understand, there's been a lot of lemon for Matthew Stafford. Apparently, he enjoys the lemon a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And let's back this up even further. And I'll get Jason and Kelcey on this one because it's more of a general question. Do we think that McVay definitely gets Gatorade dumped on him?
I say no because you said he's going to win.
I think he does.
I mean, do we think either of these coaches get Gatorade dumped on them?
I think Sean does. He's a young guy. You know, that's fun stuff. Young dude. You know, I'd be concerned if he was old and crabby like Bill or somebody like that. But I think Sean would be down for it. And lemon, bro. What lemon Gatorade is there? What are you talking? Is there a yellow Gatorade?
Lime, the yellow Gatorade.
All right, it's green. It's not yellow.
No, it is yellow.
Well, they do have it yellow/green, so you're right.
Yeah.
People do confuse it.
But no, look, I think this is a case where, like, Sean McVay will get the bath, but I think Zach Taylor also gets the bath. Like, I think both of them will be willing to. I think there's a weird caveat here, though, that if it's the Bengals that win, I think they actually end up with purple because of all the LSU ties. Because think about it, like that's what they poured on their coaches. That's what they poured on Ed Ogeron when they won at LSU was purple.
Get that grape in there.
Kelcey, that's a great point. And Rook, you should know that, being the huge LSU fan that you are.
Go Tigers.
All right, let's take some more serious bets real quick, though. Let's talk about some player props. I know I got some for Joe Burrow. He's got 273.5 passing yards. He's been over and under that 2 times each over the last 4 games. But the one I really like is the 1.5 passing touchdowns at a minus 165 line right now. He's getting 2. Whether they lose this game, win this game, he's getting 2. I truly believe. So while it's not quite even money, it's still a good bet, I think, to have. What do you guys think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'll start. I think I agree. I took that bet already. DraftKings actually offered a boost on it. It was plus 100 earlier this week. So I already took that one. So I agree with you. I think he's going to throw 2. Listen, if they get behind, early, or even if they're just down, maybe a garbage time touchdown, I think it's going to be him. I mean, listen, both of these teams are pretty much more pass heavy, I would feel. So I think for Burrow, I'm taking over 1.5 touchdowns, definitely.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at too. I mean, what do you think, TJ? Do you like the passing yards? Do you like the 273.5 passing yards over or under?
I think that's a tough mark, but I mean, I'm going for the Bengals as well. I think that you'd have to get there. I think they're going to have to go pass heavy on this one. I like it. I really do like it because, you know what? It's the Super Bowl. You get amped up. You want to score those points, often. And I think they're going to try to move the football. I think everybody's kind of counting them out. And I think they're riding high right now. So I actually really like that. I like them slinging the ball a little bit, especially in the first half. They have a little bit of success with it. I think they just keep rolling through with the pass-heavy offense. So I love it.
I got a question for Nick. This is one that catches my eye. Joe Mixon over under 62.5 rushing yards. He's been under that mark 3 of the last 4 games. Do you think the Bengals try to come out and run the football to try to control this game early on, get some jitters out? Or is this pathway just going to continue where it's Joe Burrow's offense and Mixon kind of gets maybe 15 carries for about 50 yards and they call it a day?
Yeah, I think they're going to go more of a pass. If Mixon does get involved, I don't think it's going to be within the run. I think it's going to be within those short passage, coming out of the backfield, check down, things like that. Maybe even a bubble screen, something like that, going out the outside. I don't see it running too much. Either offense running too much. You got Cam Akers coming off the Achilles injury. Mixon, and you also got to consider that the defense for the Rams is really centered upon their defensive line. Now, granted, you're going to throw a lot of pass rush kudos to them, but they can still stop the run. And that's one thing that their defensive line can do. And their linebackers probably excel a little bit more at stopping the run than they do rushing the passer, because that's really going to be the Aaron Donald show right there.
All right, this one I'll open up to the entire floor because everybody's going to have an opinion on this guy. Jamar Chase, 78.5 receiving yards. He's been over and under that mark twice each the last 4 games. So it hasn't always been a clear-cut thing in the playoffs that he's gone over that 78.5 mark. I just want to make that clear because the last game, everybody's going to have that burned to their brains heading into this one. So just be smart about it. But I'll open this up to the floor. Whoever wants to answer first. Over, under, 78.5.
Oh, well, Jason's going to answer.
Jason, here you go, Jason. You're muted here.
Yeah.
He's still
muted.
Can't unmute your guests because they chose to mute themselves.
All right, I'm going to say over, and the fact is, we can analyze this game all day long. We will hear analysis, I'm sure, for another 4 hours before it starts. And the fact is, some people are money when it matters, and Jamar Chase happens to be one of those players. Like to see him big today. I do see him over today.
I think for me, it comes down to, do they let Ramsey shadow him, or is Raheem Morris continue to be stupid and have him play that star position and they don't shadow him? I think that's what it's going to boil down to for me. I don't know if we have necessarily the answer to that question before we head into the game, but does anybody have a feel for it?
Yeah, I'm a huge Florida State fan, as you can tell by my 6 or 7 Florida State hats right there. And I watched Jalen Ramsey play football for 3 years at least. He's going to give up chunk yardage. It's very similar to Trayvon Diggs. They give up a lot of yards. He may not give up the big touchdown, and he may even get a pick in the process, but he's going to give up some chunk yardage. So I think he's going to be over the 78 yards, even if he does cover him for the rest of the whole game. He's a boomer bust kind of guy. He may not give up a touchdown, but he'll give up yards. He'll give up chunk yards every time.
Anthony T. Higgins, 68.5. He's been over that the last 2.
Yeah, so I had it this morning at DraftKings was 70.5, but
it's
68.5.
I got 68.5. Yeah.
Okay, so 68.5. Yeah, you know what? I think I was listening to you guys earlier, and someone was saying that they believe you might have to go to somebody else instead of Chase because there's gonna be a lot of tension on Chase. I forgot who it was, but yeah, I'm with over on T. Higgins. I think either with Boyd or Higgins, I feel like someone there is gonna have to be just pick up the slack, or in case Ramsey's shadowing Chase, someone's got to make a play. Sometimes these Super Bowls, you always see players that aren't the big name guys make a big play. What was it, the Seahawks against I think it was against the Patriots. They had, I can't remember his name, but he had a big game, and he wasn't someone who you were expecting to have that big game. So I would go with Higgins. I'm going to go over on that one. I'm expecting to be big today.
Well, and you guys can correct me on this one if I'm wrong. Before this show started, Tyler Boyd, I had him down at 40.5, which he's been under those the last 4 games in a row. And the reason I think it started off at 29.5. The reason it got boosted to 40.5 was because of CJ Usama. So look, he's a good receiver. We know that, but he has been a part of this offense. Does that change today? Go ahead, DJ.
No, I think so. I mean, and you got to go with the statistics coming into it. The fact that they boosted a little bit, I think I'm safe with taking the under. I feel that's a good bet, especially coming into this game. But it's the Super Bowl. You just don't know. I'm one for overs. I'm a big overs guy, but I actually like the under right there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would take the under there too. What about you, Jason? You had one that you felt pretty good about this earlier.
We're talking about TJ
Tyler Boyd.
Oh, Tyler Boyd. Well, I didn't. I was just met you. I think whoever brought it up said, "What if they doubled?" I think it was DJ brought it up. Said if they doubled Jamar and they put Jalen on T. Higgins for the size matchup, then here we go. You got Tyler Boyd as your MVP of the Super Bowl, is what I said, because somebody's got to eat at some point. So if that's the case, then yeah, absolutely. But I did bring up C.J. Uzomah as well. Could be a big X factor in this Super Bowl as a big red zone target. So watch out for him as well.
Anthony, I think you got somebody who's trying to get your attention here.
Somebody likes you. I think it's that's my sister. Yeah, she wanted to. Nick knows my sister too. They actually swam together in college. But yeah, what's up, Gina? Love you. Yeah, shout out to the whole family. My mom's probably watching too. So hi, Mom.
She's watching American Ninja Warrior.
No, she's watching this. My brother's watching too. My brother actually just texted me saying that Jamar Chase odds just got boosted on I don't know which site for a touchdown plus 100. So if anyone's interested in buying into Jamar Chase scored a touchdown today, it's plus 100.
I'll take even odds on Chase getting a touchdown for sure. Let's flip this thing over to the Rams side of the ball. So Stafford's at 279.5. He's been over under on that 2 times each last 4 games throughout the playoffs. He notably went over against Tampa Bay, over against San Francisco. So the last 2 games rolling into this thing. What's interesting to me about those 2 games is I take the Tampa Bay game. They had to put up over 30 points. San Francisco game, they only dropped 20, and he still went over 300 yards. So you have 279.5. We think this is going to be a passing game. I feel like this is a lock. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I think it definitely is going to be a passing game. I'm not into the numbers because I'm not a math person. And my guys can definitely. I'm a talker. I'm not a mather. And if you want to show people how stupid you are,
I'm a mather.
I'm a math.
I've never heard it described that way. Usually people say like a mathematician if they're being a mather. I've never heard that one.
I'm a talker, not a mather. All right. Most mather is Marshall math.
It's the Jets fan in him. It's okay.
Yeah, but it'll definitely be a passing. It's gonna be a shootout between the 2 teams. Running the ball has not been. I mean, it's not a premium thing anymore. Once upon a time, you lived and you died on the run and defense, right? And the NFL has made rules to ensure that defense isn't played and running the ball is not as exciting as passing the ball. I mean, the NFL's taken over as America's game since the forward pass was made legal, or else they'd still be competing with baseball. Let's get real about it. The NFL's only played in the wintertime because baseball's played in the summertime. They couldn't compete back in the day. The NFL, when it was conceived, was the XFL of its time, or now the USFL of its time, where it didn't play to compete. So I think they're going to pass because that's the name of the game these days. That's just what's going to happen. You win and you lose with your quarterback.
Well, that's actually a good segue. Kelcey, I'm going to give you this one. Cam Akers, 63.5. He's been under that every single game, including the games where he's had 24 carries, let's say. And now you have Darrell Henderson back. So what do you think? Do you think he finds the magic in Super Bowl week when they need him the most, or does this turn to a committee and does continues to be not efficient?
I think that, the big difference for Cam Akers that we talked about, obviously his medical miracle, we've already talked about that being there. That's to throw that aside. He's going up against the worst rush defense in the league this season, literally ranked 32 out of 32. Give me Cam Akers on the over on this. Like this is, and this goes back. I'll even go to the Matt Stafford thing, and literally them getting Darrell Henderson active. Matt Stafford, to me, that drops him below. And honestly, you're going against such a bad run defense. Like, why do you not? The simple, smart thing to do, and I'm saying that about Sean McVay, and shoot me now, would be to run the ball. But that's not, honestly, Sean McVay is probably going to blow that out of the water. But that's what he should do. That should be the thing that he should do. And Cam Akers should reap the benefits because he is that dynamic of a back.
TJ, I'm going to give you the floor on this one. This seems like the lock bet of all lock bets when it comes to the prop bets, and that's Cooper Kupp, 106.5 over under. He's averaged 116.7 yards. He's been over that mark every single game of the playoffs. He's got to get that right.
100%. I mean, I'm sitting here betting Cooper Kupp 2 TDs because I think he's just going to be an integral factor today. He's going to have to be. Like we said, we're all focusing on a passing offense today. We're all focusing on yards in the air. I think he's getting over that. I think he gets targeted a hell of a lot. And depending on the Bengals and how they play him, he might have an insane breakout game and get more than 2 touchdowns. But I don't see in in any way, unless, God forbid, knock on wood, the guy gets hurt. He's going over 106. I mean, come on.
I just want to piggyback real quick. Anything with the name Cooper obviously is going to have a big day today. But I will say, I know, Dan, you chastised me earlier for bringing up an irrelevant stat. The last time these teams played in 2019, Cooper Kupp, 7 receptions, 220 yards and a touchdown. So, yes, buddy, believe it. He could be big money today.
Not facing Mike Hilton. By the way,
just call me Mr. Irrelevant Stat today, apparently.
Captain Obvious. No. OBJ, 63.5 over last 2 games. Anthony.
I listen, as a Giants fan, it sucks you don't have OBJ in the team anymore. I mean, it was a good thing we got rid of him. I liked him. But I think OBJ, listen, 100 and something yards for Cooper Kupp, definitely in the realm of possibility. But I think, like I said before, I'm part of the same mindset of, if you're going to be, big in a big game like this, you need to have more, the outside guys, not the big name. But I mean, OBJ is a big name guy, but he hasn't been OBJ the last couple of years. So I think for OBJ, he's my guy. I already bet he's going to have receptions over 5.5. So I think he's going to have a big game. So I'm going to go over 63.5. And that was the reason why I bet that was because also boosted by I think it was like DraftKings or FanDuel or something like that.
Yeah,
even money as well. So I'm taking that. I think OBJ's gonna have a big game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, look, Cooper Kupp's gonna get his. Somebody else still has to. And I keep going back to the game 2 weeks ago. They only put up 20 points. Both those guys had over 100 yards. You don't necessarily need to score. It doesn't necessarily be a big scoring game for them to get these props. That's why I like them so much. But let's get into the game lines, which a lot of people, especially guys who don't bet a lot, are going to bet these game lines. Rams -4, over under 48.5 on this one. Let me give you some stats real quick. Cincinnati 13-7 against the line this year. Rams 10 of 10 over the last 20 games. And the over under, Cincinnati under 12 of the last 20. Rams again, even money, 10-10 over these last 20 games. So when we look at this kind of goes a little bit into our Super Bowl predictions. That's why we're going to end this segment on this, though. Rams -4. Where are you going? I'll kick this to let's get to Kelcey here.
Man. What's the line again? Sorry, -4?
-4, yeah.
Yeah, this is giving away my prediction for the game. I'm going to I think the Bengals.
Who wins, just who's going to cover.
I think Bengals cover. I think in that case. Okay. I think between the two teams, they both fizzle out too much offensively. Why not?
How about the over/under? 48.5.
48.5. Oh, no way. No, it's going to be under. Like no
scoring game. Okay. Jason, I think you had a high scoring prediction.
I do. I'm going with the over. I think they're going to go back and forth. I think Nick brought it up. I think they're going to go back and forth in the air, and there's going to be some big points today. That's what the NFL wants, as Nick alluded to earlier, and that's certainly what they're going to get. So I do like that. And I don't like the Rams to cover the 4. I think it's going to be really close. And I also just want to close with somebody please look up the statistic for what about Eli Apple. Will he be MVP today? Give me the stats on that. That's what I want.
I don't think they even have that on there. All right, Nick, we're just going to go down the line. Nick, -4, 48.5. What do you got?
I'm taking the Rams covering, and then I'm taking the under. I think there's going to be a lot of turnovers today. I think there's going to be a lot of mistakes made. You've got a dynamic receiver on the Rams and Jalen Ramsey. He'll give up chunk yardage, but he'll also get the ball turned over as well. But I also feel like the Bengals' offensive line is absolute trash, and they're going to allow in the sense the Joe Burrow is going to get hurried. He's going to make mistakes like young quarterbacks do. And I was the one that booed Eli Apple. I think the whole NFL, other than people in Cincinnati, are booing Eli Apple right now. I've never seen a man with so much bravado for somebody who can't play football at a high level. It's astounding. It really is.
Oh, if he's MVP, I can't wait to play this back.
Listen, everybody knows today is the Super Bowl. Anybody with the position of QB will be the MVP, despite what happens. If Eli Manning can win 2 Super Bowl MVPs, then any quarterback that plays football can win Super Bowl MVP.
True story.
All right, TJ, give it to me. -4, 48.5. What do you got?
I'm betting with what I want to see. I mean, might not necessarily come out, but like I said, I want to see a shootout today. I think we all want to see a shootout today. I think the only way that the Bengals win is if we get into a shootout and Joe Burrow is just firing on all cylinders. I like the Bengals covering that -4, and I like the over. I mean, I think it's the Super Bowl. You got to go all out. You got to step up. I don't think anybody's playing with scared money today. I think you're just, if you're in a position to get ahead, you're going to be going for that end zone. So I like the over, and I like the Bengals, holding there.
Anthony.
So before I get into my prediction of that, I just have one other couple of things I like to bet on. So shout out to my brother. He just commented before. And shout out to my friend Bob. We've been talking about this. Is we like to bet the second half scoring will be more than the first half. I don't know if anyone talked about this before, but 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls, the second half has scored more than the first, and 13 times since 2002. So if you're going to say the second half will score, it's a -120 bet, which is pretty good.
Anthony, I'll tack on to that. The Rams and the Bengals both over in the second half, the last 5 games in a row each.
Yes, and both of them go under. So that most of the scoring is going to be in the second half as well. History has shown us. So +100 if it's no, and then +1600 if it's tied. Also, for Cooper, if a defensive back wins the MVP, it's +1200. I don't have Eli Apple. I don't think they have odds on him, but if he does win, it's +1200. So that's worth it as well.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Anthony talks about his fun prop bets, right? What are the odds on OBJ's baby being born today?
That was a big
that was a thing.
It's not there. It's not there. And then
because he had something about the baby's due today.
Yeah, it's due today. Imagine
and he was like,
Super Bowl. That'd be great.
And he said something along the lines of like, well, if the baby comes out today, I'm going to call him up and tell him to wait 36 hours.
Watch him score a game-winning touchdown and just run straight off the field to the emergency room.
Yeah, you figure wherever his wife's at, or whoever it is giving his birth the child with OBJ, who knows? But it's probably a nearby hospital, being that it's in LA anyway.
Yeah.
I saw that she was referred to as his partner, which seemed very OBJ specific.
Yes,
considering what we've seen him do, twerking on a boat and singing "Sexual Healing" with 6 dudes in a jacuzzi,
and then losing a fight to a kicking net.
My other prop bet I like is Von Miller to get a sack, -170, and that's because so far this postseason, the Bengals are 4th all time in the postseason, give up 12 sacks. They give it up 51 sacks this season, which is a 9.3% sack rate, and their second highest only to the Bears, which were worse. So I'm going to go Von Miller with a sack. And then finally, my pick is I like the Rams to win this game, but I don't think they cover, so I'm taking the Bengals +4.
All right, I like it. Look, for me, guys, it up to -9.5 myself. I think they win this game by 2 scores just based on the matchup of how these two teams line up against each other. I'm also over on the 48.5. If we're all on the idea this is going to be a throw-em-out game, it's going to be higher scoring than 48.5 points. So we have all that and more. We got more Super Bowl predictions coming up on the other side. First, I want to say goodbye to the Scoreboard Addicts. Guys, where can we follow you at? What times do you come on?
We are on bellyup.tv as we are right now. We're on every Tuesday at 7:30 and every Saturday at 7. And then we're also on Burns Radio, 8 p.m. on Friday and then 8 p.m. again on Saturday as well. And then we're on Twitter, Score Addicts Pod. We couldn't fit the whole thing on there. And then we also have that's my mother. Hi, mom again. And shout out to my wife. I don't know if she's watching, but my wife too, for being a great sport to let me do this.
To live with you. Why would she watch?
You talk enough. It's okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, mom would like to watch TV with Kelcey, by the way, because he watches The Bachelorette. Just want to bring that up.
On that note,
but we're on Twitter, Instagram. We just started a TikTok. Just look for us, Scoreboard Addicts. Scoreboard.
Yeah, Nick's gonna be twerking on there.
Podcast. Nick's gonna be twerking on there soon. He's gonna be the next Jackson Mahomes. Check it out.
Look out for Does Gen Z Know? That's gonna show up on TikTok. That's a little fun segment we do with our intern Sal. Does Gen Z Know? And we'll be doing some bar reviews with him. Sal's birthday just turned. It was just Friday. We're gonna be heading to some old time bars in New York City with Sal. Show him a good time.
Sal just turned 15. No, he can't shave yet, but we love you, Sal. Sal, happy birthday, man. Hope you have a good weekend.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you in a lot more down the road in the weeks to come on BellyUp.tv. We're going to take a quick break. We come back on the other side. We're going to wrap this thing up with our Super Bowl predictions from everyone. So stay tuned on the Belly Up Sports' Big Game Bonanza here on BellyUp.tv, powered by Tiki Live, and on your Roku devices.
Get your party started with the Kong Beer Bong. You get a can cooler for those chilled, laid-back get-togethers, and a built-in beer bong for when things start to get a little wild. It's portable and ready to party no matter where you are in the world. It's perfect for any holiday event. And the party doesn't stop there. They have an assortment of fun party accessories to take your party to the next level. Be the most wanted party animal for any get-together with the Kong Beer Bong. Visit BellyUpSports.com today. Click our Partners tab. All shipments in America are free.
All right, guys, welcome back for the final segment of the Belly Up Sports' Big Game Bonanza. We got 10 minutes to go over Super Bowl predictions from everyone. Kelcey, I believe you've had that queued up here in StreamYard, so you can go ahead and take it away, sir.
Yeah, so as you can see from our bottom line, we have everybody who's appeared on the show today. Well, except for TJ because he didn't get his vote in time. So sorry, TJ. You dropped the ball on that one, my guy. But we have it going, and we're going to start with my guy, the food segment, Andy, here with his pick. And Andy, well, surprise, surprise, going with the Bengals, 23-13. Obviously, he mentioned a couple times that he believes there's going to be a couple picks. He laid it down that Matthew Stafford kind of gives this one away at the end of the day, giving up 2 picks on this one. Tough break for La La Land, if you will, and they're not going to be able to win a home game in the Super Bowl. And Andrew, well, also going the Bengals, 28-24. Andrew, I don't know. You know what? Let's bring Andrew on. Let's let him defend his pick here. Let me let him defend this one for him.
I got to defend everything I do today. Damn.
No remorse, man.
Stop sucking.
No, I love it. Bring it. No. So a little bit of a. So 20-24, I do agree in the over of the 40. I think it's going to be a bit more of a shootout. I think the line does get to Burrow, but I think he's mobile enough. I think he's going to utilize the tight ends and the slot enough to get it done. So I'm going with the Bengals. I'm confident in that, and I really don't want Stafford to win and be involved in the Hall of Fame conversation because he does not belong, just like Eli does not belong on the rest right there.
Man, just so salty. God.
I am salty. I'm a Pats fan. Eli, get out of the hall.
You had enough. Okay? You've had enough.
And because of that, Andrew, goodbye. No, we're gonna let Andrew take a break here. Because next up, we're going to go to the Rook himself. Anthony, his pick. Well, he went with LA. Now he's still in here, so he gets to defend his choice in this one.
Listen, I love Joe Burrow. I'm rooting for the Bengals. I really am cheering for the Bengals. I just don't feel that I feel like the LA Rams defense is going to be too much for the offensive line. I just think it's going to be the change of the game. I think it's going to be low scoring, so I don't think it's. I mean, do I believe +4? I do still believe in it, but if I'm going pick a score and pick a team, that's what I'm going with.
No, that's fair. Look,
I know, I'm weird. I think put my money on stuff, but I also think outside of it. So
you think essential with your money, whereas you think by the feel of it with your brain for your regular picks. I feel
exactly.
I lose too much money that way. So
yeah.
Well,
I'm trying not to lose too much money.
Exactly. We appreciate it, Anthony. Now we're gonna go to
you guys.
Your buddy in arms here. We're gonna head over to Nick, and Nick gets to defend his pick here as Nick again going with the Rams. So we got a scoreboard addicts sticking together here. Now, Nick, what do you think of the Rams?
So the Rams have been to the Super Bowl already, right? They've got some guys, veteran experience. Von Miller's already won a Super Bowl. And on top of that, you got Matthew Stafford, who's a very well-established quarterback for a losing franchise. I think he needs it at this point in his does this solidify his place in the Hall of Fame if he wins the Super Bowl this year? I don't know. It's a great question, though. But I think they win. I think there's gonna be a lot of turnovers today. I just do. I've got a weird feeling there's gonna be a lot of balls either coughed up or thrown in the air and picked off. There's gonna be a ton of sacks across the board, and I just feel like it's gonna be 23-17 overall. I mean, Rams are at home. They've got a home game. Most of the people buying tickets, you got to figure, are going to be celebrities. And where do celebrities live? In LA. So you got the one or two guys that are sitting there that are from the Will Smiths of the world and things like that. But I can't think of any famous people that come from Cincinnati. So I'm gonna give it to the Rams, and 23-17 is my pick for the day.
Don't sleep on Chad Johnson to buy a few tickets for Bengals fans now. But to your point, the only people that can afford those tickets are celebrities. Nick, we appreciate you jumping back on and arguing your case. And very eerily similar, by the way, 23-17 and 24-17 for Anthony. Got to mention that they might be piggybacking off each other's picks there. So who knows? Next up, though, DJ, you're already here. Do you want to preamble your pick, or you want to just go straight into it?
Oh, we can just jump right into it. I'll get going kind of quickly. I think the Rams are going to take 27-20. I think both teams are going to run it a lot in the first half, and then the second half, they're both going to say screw it and let their quarterbacks go ballistic. And I think Stafford's probably honestly just going to get the ball last and make it count is what's going to happen. I think it's going to be really close. I do want to point out, though, if the Bengals do win, look for Tyler Boyd to be huge. There's a high school football game called the Big 33 Classic. Every single year, every 56 years, a player that played in that game has played in the Super Bowl. Tyler Boyd played in that Super Bowl, and he had 4 touchdowns over the game's MVP. So if they do, Big Game Boyd might be a thing that pops up. We got Joe Burr and Big Game Boyd, but I'm still sticking with the Rams regardless, though, 27-20.
That's an interesting aspect to that. All right.
Jason doesn't get all the useless stats today. I get to throw a few in there.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's a good one. I like that stat a little bit more than Jason's stats, for sure. I mean, they're nothing like Bachelorette stats, but whatever. But Zach, what about you? Do you want to preamble your pick, or you want to go straight into it?
Salty.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, here's the deal. I'm going to be telling you right now that bold prediction, you're going to see Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, and Von Miller get 1 sack apiece during this contest. I think it's going to be that much of a diverse pass rush there. And in terms of how the gameplay flow goes, first half, QBs are going to both have jitters. You have 2 guys that aren't used to this stage that have, first-time experiences really with Matthew Stafford. There are some veterans on each side, but I think some jitters are going to lead to a bit of a defensive and or sloppy play. Second half is where things are really going to be gunning for it. I think you're going to have a finish that comes down to the wire. However, the Rams are going to come out on top. They'll have 1 possession more. The Bengals will try and make a final last-minute push, but it won't be enough. 35-27, and you'll be hearing Randy Newman's I Love L.A. at the end of the game. Just blasting through the PA system. They did it at the Clash at the Memorial Coliseum last week. They're going to do it this week too.
We had Bruce Springsteen. We had Aerosmith. We had Tom Petty. I mean, now we're getting goodness, getting throwbacks, man. This is like, if you guys are a fan of music from the 80s and 90s, today has been a great show for you. Let's just put it that way.
I swear we're not all that old. I swear.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like I'm one of the oldest, and now I'm not even that old.
With Randy Newman, he's just the Sesame Street guy. You got a friend in me. That's all you have to know.
Killing me, man. Killing me. All right. Anyways, Dan, now it's up to you. Your pick is LA Rams.
That is not my score, though. I picked the Rams I picked the Rams at 31-20 is what I had the final score for this one going into it. The Rams are going to come out hot because usually what happens, Sean McVay comes out with a very well-crafted game script, especially for those first 2 drives. So I think they're going to come out hot in this one. And the Bengals are just a very bad team in the red zone in general, but they are the worst team in the red zone when it comes to the first and second quarters. So that's why they have Evan McPherson, who kicks all these field goals. It's going to be more of a second half surge by them, but ultimately it comes down to that Rams pass rush will dominate this game. The Rams line of scrimmage in general might dominate this game. That offensive line is the healthiest it's been all season long, and the Bengals don't have a great edge rush to begin with. If you can't tack the edges on the Rams, the zone scheme that they have, look out. Play action will be available. Cooper Kupp will be able to torment the middle of that team, the middle of that zone. That's what ultimately boils down to for me. The team that dominates the line of scrimmage, especially in the Super Bowl, we saw it last year with Tampa Bay against Kansas City, is a team that wins the game. I love Joe Burrow. I love what that team might be in the future, but this is the Rams' time. They have invested all of the resources into it. It's all streaming in one direction. I like the Rams to win this game by 11 points, 31-20.
Okay. And, shout out to our brilliant graphics people for this one. Our behind the scenes graphic guy messed this one up. So we'll see if he can get on top of that one for sure. Now it's going to stay the same for the next couple picks, but Jason.
All right, no worries. I could fill in for you.
Yours is right. Yours is right.
All right, good. Perfect.
30-28.
Perfect. So listen, I've rode the Bengals all the way through the playoffs because their defense, to me, has been better in the playoffs versus their opponents in the AFC. Not today. And the biggest season ever with the greatest playoffs ever, I believe is going to give us the greatest Super Bowl ever. A field goal at the end to win it for the Rams or a touchdown, whatever it's going to be. It's going to be last minute, 30-28 Rams.
Okay. All right. Well, wow. This is a really big Rams heavy team. There's been 8 picks so far. Obviously, 6 of them going to the Rams, 2 going to the Bengals. I'm going to just jump on the crew. I'm going to go Bengals. I'm already rocking the Bengals themed high-low sports hoodie. I'm going to go with this one. I got it 21-18. I have the lowest score on this game because, as we talked about, the Bengals suck at scoring when they get in the red zone. But the Rams go blank for periods of time, and that includes quarters at a time, and they can't really efficiently move the ball. So I have this one coming down to Matt Gay missing a field goal, giving Evan McPherson a chance to go down, stick his big old bazookas in a wagon, and carry his team to a Super Bowl championship. As he said, as they're going to the AFC Championship game, he say we just want a Super Bowl as we walks onto the field to kick a field goal. So give me the Bengals on this one. Evan McPherson is your MVP. Take that to the bank.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
And by the way,
it was
one last pick though, just for the people out there. We always talk about the Simpsons did it first. Talk about the over-under. Over-under obviously being 48.5. Simpsons have been going over. Plus or -4 for the Rams. They have the Bengals covering. And the final score, Bengals win the Super Bowl 34-31 over LA. And there you go, guys. The Bengals. No! The Simpsons called it first here if the Bengals end up winning. If that's exactly right, I don't know at this point in time, but I'm taking all my betting advice from the Simpsons going forward.
I love it. I love it. Guys, this closes our time. But this was a great show. We had a lot of fun doing it. Thank you for everybody who's tuned in, whether it was on Belly Up TV or what was the YouTube on Belly Up Sports. The next 3 hours, don't worry, we got the Unbearable Sports coming up. We got TSS Fantasy and MD's Fantasy Football Show to bring you in all the way up until Super Bowl kickoff time. So everybody stay tuned on BellyUp.tv for that. Make sure you are following us along on Roku. You can download the Belly Up Sports channel there. Follow us on social media at TV Belly Up. We have a lot more exciting content to come, including live sports, but we have 24/7 coming to you on Belly Up TV and on Burns Radio at tikilive.com/channel/Burns. Guys, loved it. We'll see you all real soon. Take care.